You damn right. Hope everybody's having a good Monday. Hope everybody's having a good July so far. Still kind of hot out there. 103, 105. What'd you see over the weekend? I saw 103.3. I saw, it was bad. It was bad. When the temperature gets up there and starts sounding like, radio station frequencies, that is not good. Hope everybody is trying to stay cool. We are closing in on football season, 54 days away from that first Texas football game, and just a couple days away from Big 12 Media Days. This is that classic dead week in sports. All-Star game, home run derby tonight. Throw in a little MLB draft, and the Big 12 decided this is the week they get together at Jerry World. We got all that going on today. It's Chad and Zay on a Monday. I'm Chad Hastings, and he is Isaiah Collier. What's up, Zay?
Chad, what's poppin'? Happy Monday, everybody. Feeling good. Couple of days till Big 12 Media Day. Your boy's going to have to get a fresh cut.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Haven't had a cut since before the honeymoon, so it's a must.
Headed to the old barbershop, huh?
Yep.
Do you go old school barbershop, a little more of a new modern salon? Do you have someone in the family that does it for free? What do you do?
Oh, never have anybody in the family, unless if they're a professional.
That's what I'm saying. Some people are lucky.
Nah, hell no. I don't do homemade cuts no more. Cece ruined me with that.
Cece used to cut your hair?
Oh, it was terrible.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Just grab the clippers and go?
Oh, and he's bald like Michael Jordan 93. It's...
Because all I do is clippers, but it results in this. You don't need this mess.
Yeah, it was terrible. The bald fade back in grade school days, horrible. Still never forgive Cece for that.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, absolutely not. No, my guy Manny, hold it down. He's a little old school, a little modern, a little mix of both, which I'm good with that.
That's
the nostalgia
good. Okay.
Barbershop. The twirling red, white, and blue symbol.
He got enough old school and enough new school.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so Zay will get all cleaned up and ready to roll. And yes, Wednesday is Big 12 Media Days. And right now the plan is we will be there on Wednesday as well. Light the Tower and this show, we're working on some details and getting everything set and trying to figure out some timelines and time frames and all that kind of stuff. But it's going to be an interesting time with obviously 4 new teams showing up. In fact, Zay, I got some media stuff over the weekend. I need to shoot it over to you from Cincinnati.
I saw that.
Did you get that?
I got that.
Good, you were on that.
Yeah,
I wanted to make sure. So since you were on I'm glad they sent it to you. Since you got credentialed for Big 12, now you're on that list. That's good to know. I didn't know if they just sent that to me and then I'm supposed to throw it to people. But yeah, Cincinnati almost kind of waving at us like, hey, remember, we're joining your conference. Hey, remember the school that Kenyon Martin went to? Oh, it's the wrong sport. Remember the school that
Bob Huggins coached that?
No. What's his name?
Yo, hold on.
Say a name they'll know. Say a football name.
Yeah, before we get to Cincinnati, Bob Huggins, shame on you for wanting your job back. Like you're not just mucking up multiple times this season, being ridiculous, dropping the worst F-bomb you could drop on radio, and then coming back drunk as hell and driving. And then you have the nerve, the audacity to ask for your job back.
Did he really?
Yes.
Like publicly he asked for West Virginia to reconsider?
Basically, yes. I deserve my job back. I didn't technically, fire myself. And yeah, he for some reason thinks he deserves it. I don't really understand, Bobby. I don't get it. But yeah, man, shout out to Cincinnati. Hey, come on in. Why not?
Dang.
But yeah, Bob Huggins. Once you brought up Cincinnati, I started thinking of Bob and stuff, and shame on him.
And by the way, the Cincinnati people would like for you not to think of him right away.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay, just making sure.
They want you to think about, what's my man's name, slinging it in Atlanta right now that you think's going to lose his job? What's his name?
Oh, Desmond Ritter?
Ritter, thank you. That's the name they want everybody. Remember the school Desmond Ritter went to?
Sauce Gardner.
That's Sauce Gardner, even better. Even better, Sauce Gardner. Hey, y'all, the defensive player of the year. Do you know that he played right here at Cincinnati? What do they call it? Nippert Stadium or whatever? I've been to that stadium. It is not massive. It is not a massive stadium.
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce. There you go. There
He's
you go.
the best one.
Much better. In fact, I'm going to double check. Zay, right now, if I say 45,000 over under on the stadium at Cincinnati, what do you think it is?
Ooh, under.
You think it's under?
Yeah.
Nippert Stadium. Yeah, good job. 40,000.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
40,000.
Sounds about right.
Capacity. By the way, if you're a TCU fan, go ahead and bow your shoulders as I say that. 40,000, because I think TCU's up at like 45.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. TCU and Tech over in a different category when it comes to those stadiums. Y'all be proud of that. Y'all be absolutely proud of that. TCU 47.
See, that's solid.
47 for TCU.
Pack
Come
that
on.
Horny Toad Stadium and get rolling.
Baylor's at 45. 45 plus in that new place. Oh, I'm sorry, Tech fans. 60,000. Take that, Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's a lot of tortillas on that field.
Take that. 60,000. All right, so we will be talking about a couple of the newbies today, as when we are at Big 12 Media Days on Wednesday, the two new teams, Cincinnati will be part of day 2, remember. So what we'll be dealing with, though, is BYU and Houston. So we'll get into a little bit of that talk coming up. If you want to jump in on the Specs text line, 337-3776 is the number. And Zay, I want to hear specifically from one group of people today. I want to hear from the Black and Silver Nation. I want to hear from Spurs fans that, for the first time maybe in their lives, recorded a Summer League game on a Friday and then hopefully knew there was one on a Sunday, recorded them both, and watched Victor Wembanyama. Let's talk about how he looks so far. What did you see from Mr. Long Lean number 1 for the Spurs?
Friday night, Chad, I saw a bust. Future Anthony Bennett, future Michael Oliver Candy.
I told you the Mavs should have waited till 10.
What are we doing? What were the NBA scouts thinking, Chad? What the hell is going on? 7'5", looking all dangly. You got the Britney Spears issues going on. Is he focused? What the hell is going on? And then last night, he showed you, this is what number 1 means. This is what the best prospect since LeBron James means. 27 points for that ass, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks in 27 minutes. Look, Summer League basketball, tough watch. Victor Wembanyama, he realized it early. Yo, this is tough because there's NBA athletes out here, not NBA IQs out here. Just a lot of good guys.
Yeah, not NBA scheming going on.
See guys in Puerto Rico, you'll see guys that he's playing against. Guys in China, Europe, etc., which ain't bad. Being a professional hooper overseas, ain't nothing wrong with that. But there's levels to this, man. There's levels to this.
Yep.
And what we saw on Friday, he had to get his feet wet. There's been a lot going on. If you heard him in his press conference, the dude talked about, man, I haven't really been able to focus on basketball in months because it's been a whirlwind of interviews, being a number 1 pick, prepping. Again, he's coming from overseas, so it's like it's different with the media. He has to adjust to that on being that dude, being maybe the face of the league in a couple of years. Hell, he's already right there. Everybody wants to talk to him. Everybody wants to see him. You got crazy ass, now B-star celebs trying to touch him and stuff. It's pretty nuts for him. So he hasn't been able to focus on basketball. And I loved what he talked about in his presser last night after he dropped the 27. Yo, I'm just gonna I'm going to go black for a couple of months and just chill. I ain't going to be on social media. Y'all ain't going to see me. And again, he just had that dinner with David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Sean Elliott, Manu Ginobili. Like, they probably said, yo, bruh, if you want to succeed in this league, you got to do this type of stuff. Yeah, I've been watching The Last Dance for the last few weeks. The way that Michael Jordan and the media was about him, yo, it was bonkers. That was the 90s. Now it's 2000s. Like, some guys embrace that. We just saw LeBron James coaching his son. Like, some guys just love always being in the limelight. And some guys can handle that and also be able to put up numbers on the court and do what you're supposed to do with your job, and that's be the best professional athlete you can, but also take on the burden that is being one of the faces of the league. So he's still getting used to all that. But yeah, Chad, what he put on, the show he put on last night, like, his jumper is so smooth. Like, it doesn't even look like it's just a little flick of the wrist. Like, I can't wait till he adds range, because he's going to add range to his shot. Yeah. I know Pop's probably early, which Pop, congratulations on that $80 million for 5 years. Well-deserved. Greatest coach in NBA history.
It's good timing, too.
Great timing. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, he was there last night chilling. He probably put 400 on black before he went down to Thomas and Mack Center. Like, why not? You just got $80 million. Live your life, dog. But Pop's probably going to let him know, dude, you're 7'5". You don't necessarily have to take long threes because you could shoot over everybody. On Friday, I thought he struggled with just kind of figuring out the NBA game. Again, you're playing with a lot of guys that won't be on this roster once October comes around. So they're all fighting for themselves. Everybody's out. I'm trying to get mine. I got to look good, not just for the San Antonio Spurs, but for everybody else in the league and also people overseas. So you see a lot of selfish basketball in Summer League. That's why I can't stand it. You see a lot of selfish, just bad, I'm thinking about me basketball, and that's when it could get just terrible. And Victor Wembanyama, he experienced that a lot on Friday. Last night, he let the game come to him. They did a lot of good pick and pop stuff for him. He attacks the defensive end. Like, he is a very good shot blocker. He had 5 on Friday, 3 last night. He changes games just with his contest over that seems like a 10-something foot wingspan when he just puts his hand up. He's a ridiculous talent and a generational player. And I feel the Spurs, if they're going to shut him down for the rest of the Summer League, hey, you should. Let him go do his thing. Let him work out. Let him get adjusted to San Antonio. Let him get adjusted to America. This is the first time a 19-year-old kid is coming to America and living. So he has a lot of adjustments ahead of him, and I like what we saw this weekend. Even on Friday, he did some things, and I liked what he saw. You're not always going to have a good game, but he has a good demeanor about him. He carries himself the right way, and yeah, you could see why Pop signed 5 years, $80 million to keep on coaching this team that he's coached ever since I was in diapers, basically.
Yeah, it's true. Somebody texted us. I love people calling him a bust after the first game. Ridiculous. Go Spurs. Go. Somebody also, Captain Caveman, asking, who do you think has a better career, Chet or Wemby? I do think Chet wins the Rookie of the Year this year, but Wemby ends up with the better in the long run.
Yeah, I think Wemby's going to end up better.
Victor feels like the answer to that to me.
Yeah.
So a couple things here. The 27, 12, and 3 blocks. First off, no Spurs ever had 25 and 10 in a Summer League game, ever, until now. But also, no Spur had that line, 27, 12, and 3 blocks, all last season. All last year, nobody got close. But the most impressive one to me, Zay, was I love the ball handling at that size is so stupid. I've seen 7'4" before, 7'3", 7'4", but he's not a Manute Bol 7'3" or 7+. He's not a Sean Bradley 7+, where it looks big and clunky and it doesn't move well. It's more Ralph Sampson-y. We talked about Ralph on his birthday the other day, but the ball handling's incredible, how effectively he can dribble low if he needs to, but the play where he is basically setting himself down on the block, trying to get a pass, trying to go old school, back it down. That's how it started. Then Victor realizes it's not going to work. Then he comes all the way up outside the 3-point line on the right wing. They get him the ball. He goes crossover dribble, moves to his left, works for a 16-foot just off the right elbow jumper, and nailed it over a defender. And I thought, oh my God. I have never seen 7'3" do that.
It's different. When you see him get his own putback for dunks, and he barely gets off the ground, yet his arms are way above the rim, that's stupid. Like, he had that floater yesterday. He went along the baseline, shot a floater. It went over the rim. He got his own rebound and then finished for an and one.
Went to the other side like it was no big deal.
It was nothing. Like, it was no big deal. There was one play that he got stopped in his tracks. He tried to go to the left, spin towards the middle to the left. It didn't work out. So he was like, well, let's just try to the right because I have long-ass arms and my arms is basically out of bounds when I throw up this sky hook. Did that and scored. Like, he's going to realize how easy it is to score because everybody's going to try to get under him and stop the ball handling. And he's just going to have to really focus on knocking shots over people like Kevin Durant, like Dirk. When Dirk realized, you know what? I'm just going to start shooting over everybody. Dirk was unstoppable. It was probably around once Nash left because the ball was in Nash's hands so much, it kind of limited Dirk. Once Dirk just realized, okay, in ISOs on the wing, I could just jab step you and look you down because I could shoot over everybody and I'm 7 foot and the ball goes like freaking 30 feet in the sky and just drops purely in the rim, he became unstoppable, and that's why he's a top 10 scorer. When Wemby realizes that, it's a wrap. It's an absolute wrap. Like I see the Chet Holmgren comparisons. I get it; they're around, the same height and stuff, very long, lanky guys.
And Holmgren does a lot with that 7+.
He does, absolutely,
just like Victor.
Just
yeah,
with Holmgren, you're worried about his durability. Like he's already missed a season. He hasn't even played one NBA game left.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, yeah, I mean,
because it was in camp when he got hurt, right?
Yeah, no, it was like in a
workout camp,
one of those pro-am games. LeBron hurt him.
He never even got to summer league,
not even,
right?
He played a couple of summer league. It was during the summer where he got hurt though. But yeah, never played an NBA game last year. So I could see Chet Holmgren winning Rookie of the Year just because Oklahoma City has a way better team than San Antonio at the moment with a first-team All-NBA player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey, and a couple other guys. But, man, yeah, the Spurs, they made the right decision. It was an easy one. And, again, Pop coming back, that's huge.
Yeah, the 5-year deal, by the way, Pop is 74, so he'll be right at 79 when it's done, maybe ready to retire, maybe ready to sign another 5-year deal. Who knows? But somebody says that one he had was crazy. You mentioned that. Just looked really impressive. And to come back off of that first game, all the weirdness of it, and to look as fluid as he did was great. And then you mentioned, I thought him discussing what comes next would excite me the most if I'm a Spurs fan. These next 2 or 3 months, I know I'm not playing in the World Cup with the FIBA, and I'm just going to focus in. I can't wait to get back to working out. I can't wait to get back to basketball. He admitted the distractions.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't mention the Britney thing specifically, but he admitted what he was talking about was all the draft stuff. I got to go here. I got to go there. I got to do this interview. I got to do that interview. And it feels like he's been missing basketball. So now he'll get back into it and be able to go. The passing that he'll show off at times.
Oh, he threw some nasty dimes in that first game.
At 7'3" to register in his brain, okay, the plays, whatever I thought up is not working. The play is not working right now. I've got to figure something out. And it always felt like he was making a smart basketball play. Even if, like you're saying, the guy he passed it to might not be the best basketball player. That's not the point right now. They're just trying to get him to learn these things. They're bringing him along slowly. He is going at the pace they want to go. And if I'm a Spurs fan, I'm just eating every bit of this up.
Yeah, there were times he should have got the ball last night, and he didn't.
Yeah.
They're just
absolutely.
Like, well, it's a summer league for you. The guy has 27 points. Let's get him the ball.
The other thing I would imagine is there were a couple moments. His blocks are unique looking to me, too, because they're not the 2 blocks he had last night that got a lot of attention. They weren't definitive slap you into the seats blocks. They were, you're out on the 3. You think your arc is fine, and he gets into it's almost like those guys would probably admit to you, like, dude, nobody's ever done that to me. Ever.
Yeah.
At that point in my shot, dude, I've let it go. It's gone. Chad, the ball's gone. It's gone. I'm just waiting to see if it's going to go in. And he tipped it enough that it comes up about 3-4 feet short. That's crazy.
You do drills every day when you're working on your shot on guys trying to contest it. So okay, this guy is 4 feet back.
Mm-hmm.
I could shoot this.
Right.
My whole life. This is open for me.
No problem.
This is how I got to the league, hitting these types of shots. For Victor Wembanyama, it makes no sense. That's not the same. Those arms are too long. Now, he did get embarrassed by Texas alum Kai Jones. That was filthy.
We did get a text giving Kai some love.
Kai, that was nasty, dog.
Uh-huh.
I don't like that you're playing in the summer league. That's not a good sign because you're on year 3. You should be past the summer league.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how you get people talking about you, Kai, because you're now that dude, the first dude in NBA history, whether it's summer league, regular season, playoffs, etc., to dunk on Victor Wembanyama. And that will always be viral. And that's huge for somebody like Kai Jones.
Yeah, that's huge. That was big. So if you have some thoughts, Spurs fans or otherwise, if you're just an NBA fan and you want to break down Victor games 1 or 2, by the way, their next game is tomorrow night, but there's already discussions about shutting him down. Zay, do you think he plays tomorrow at all?
I wouldn't play him.
You just leave him alone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Leave him alone.
Saw what you need to see?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's thought that maybe that is it for Wembanyama, but tomorrow night would be the next time to check in if you're a Spurs fan. All right, coming up, let's get to some football. Texas football adds another commit for 2024. Texas basketball. It was going to be 24, but it actually changed, and it got better. More good news for Rodney Terry. Plus, we'll talk about the 2 new teams that are going to be involved on Wednesday at Big 12 Media Days. That would be BYU and U of H. Stay with us. Remember, Specs text line 337-3776. This is The Horn. All right, let's talk a little sinus and snoring specialist. Got to be breathing well, got to be sleeping well. And if you're not, sinus and snoring specialist can help you. Dr. Slaughter and his crew, over 20 years of experience offering the very latest in ear, nose, and throat technology. I went in there in 2017. He let me know that I was all blocked in my nasal passages, was able to show me with a device he helped develop that I was 85% blocked was his estimate, and it did not look good. And it certainly didn't feel right because I was forced to breathe through my mouth when I slept instead of my nose. You got to be able to go in and out through your nose for the best possible sleep. So get that checked out. Maybe you got bad allergies, horrible sinus headaches and sinus infections, all that. I had moderate obstructed sleep apnea. They dealt with that. They can get rid of your allergies for good. There's so many different options out there. Remember, Dr. Slaughter's got surgical and non-surgical options that others just don't have for snoring, sleep apnea, all of it. Call and set up an appointment today, 512-601-0303, or go to sinussnoringent.com. It's Sinus and Snoring Specialists. Feel clear, rested, and healthy.
Chad and Zay.
Oh, now this is a summertime song right here. Summertime. What a great collab this was. Little Rob Thomas and Santana.
Santana.
Uh-huh.
And Rob. Yep. Classic. Smooth.
Just incredible. Yeah, this is one of those, if you didn't know it, if you couldn't identify a guitar sound and know the guy, this one reminded you, because Santana is unique.
Yeah.
There's a group of guitar players like that. If you played just their guitar, I'd go, oh, it sounds like that guy. And he's in the category. Santana's there. This thing took over one summer, and you couldn't get away from it. And it's still a pretty damn good song to play during the summer if you'd like. It is good stuff. All right, so lots of stuff out there. In fact, I am just trying to find it. There's an update out there. In fact, I'll just pull it up here. We were talking about Longhorn baseball we were talking about Longhorn football and basketball. There's now an update on Longhorn baseball. We can get everybody in terms of coaching staff stuff. So let's go ahead and jump into that. And, of course, Big 12 Media Day is coming up this week. There's a lot of things going on. But we have just learned where did it go? There it is. And shout out to Danny Davis of The Statesman, who first reported it. But Texas baseball has announced that David Pierce is the new pitching coach.
Okay.
Ho-ho. So now it's not only your thing, you're going to take over your thing. Also, I'd heard discussion, and I saw our man Mike Hards retweet that he thought maybe Troy Tulowitzki could return. He is returning, back as Director of Player Development. And then it says, and then Carly Todd moving from DOPD to Director of Baseball Ops. So the big ones there, Pierce and Tulowitzki back as part of the program.
Yeah, bringing Tulu back. That's big time.
Interesting.
I love Tulu with the Rockies, man. I thought he was so cold. He had a couple of injuries, but, he got it done over there at shortstop. I love this game.
So back as Director of Player Development. I thought that was such a great move. When they got him, I just felt like having that level of guy around, because Tulowitzki was a flat-out wizard on the infield.
Oh, he was stupid.
And just the ability. I've seen one game at the Rockies Stadium. I got lucky enough to go see them play. It was the Giants. I got to see Barry hit a home run, Barry Bonds, and I got to see Tulowitzki play.
Right.
Like, those were really the two guys walking out of there that I went, oh, my God. And I got to see, I guess it was Larry Walker was still with Colorado at the time, and certain guys like that. But getting to see Tulo deal a little bit out there on the infield, he made it look so simple. And imparting that on young players has got to be helpful. So that could be good news.
And the respect that he has in the clubhouse, being a perennial all-star, and all those gold gloves that he has, you want to learn from that because you want to get to the show one day after you have your seasons at, with Texas baseball. So, good move by David Pierce, and it'll be interesting to see him now completely in charge of his pitching rotation. I like that.
So your new pitching coach, Longhorn fans, is David Pierce, head coach and pitching coach next season in 24. So be on the lookout for that. We've also got an update for you on the football side. Texas adds number 13 to the 2024 recruiting class. Got a commitment from Dangerfield athlete Aaron Hampton. Interesting way to go, Aaron. Aeryn. Parents getting creative there. Aaron Hampton is listed here as a 4-star. I'm seeing 5'11", 180, the athlete out of Dangerfield. The 13th commitment for Steve Sarkisian. And Zay, we do know as many times as, I like the idea of Parker Livingstone at 6'4", and Jordan Washington, the tight end they just got, is a 6'5", but he's a little thinner 6'5", and he's freaky and he can do different things. But we know deep down what Steve Sarkisian wants and loves. He loves, give me about 6 foot, give me like 180, 190
Yeah.
with burners. That's what he wants.
Yeah.
And that's what this guy is, I think.
Yeah, he wants those Jalen Waddle, Henry Rugg types that he coached over there at Alabama.
Yep.
And you think about Aaron Hampton, who's an athlete. He could do a little bit of everything, which is very scary in the Steve Sarkisian offense. So he was a guy that committed to Texas, kind of dropped his name out of there, and then recommitted. So he realized, there's a lot of talent there. Maybe when he committed first, he was like, the talent ain't there for my class yet. I don't know. Now it's there. Great commit, great pickup by Steve Sarkisian and crew.
Somebody texted, that sounds like David Pierce putting his ass on the line.
Yo, man.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's what it's all about.
I mean, that's drawing the line in the sand, right?
Hey, that's what it's all about. You were just a bloop away from getting to Omaha. We know what happened at Stanford. I'm sorry, Horns fans. I do not want to remind you that. That was absolutely brutal. But you were right there, and bringing Tulo back in and you taking over as the pitching coach, yeah, you put it on the line because you want to get back to Omaha. That's the standard. You got to start winning these championships. It's been a minute. Remember we bought Catch On and he pointed it out there since 05. Like, that's a hot minute.
For this program, it is.
That's a hot minute
No
now.
doubt.
I know we greedy around here. Mike Malone, we some greedy bastards, especially when it comes to some Longhorn baseball.
Right.
But
especially when you're about to go to the conference that is stacking them up right now.
Exactly.
They're just winning them every single year.
Yeah, can't get complacent. Gotta keep it moving. Gotta keep it pushing and keep on making moves to better your ball club. I like it.
All right, so we got those two pieces of news, baseball and football. How about a little basketball news, Zay? Rodney Terry just keeps it rolling. This time it's not technically adding to the 23 class, but I guess it is because you get a guy out of the 24 class that reclassifies. He was going to go somewhere else. Now he's coming to Texas.
Yeah, he was going to go to LSU.
Okay.
Class of 24, reclassified, 6'7", and his name is Devin Pryor, a Houston kid. Very athletic, but has a long way to go. I don't know if he's going to get on the floor much this season. I really wouldn't be surprised if he redshirted, but you never know. He could come in on campus and he can make an impact right away. Sometimes it don't matter how old you enough, is you good enough. And hey, this dude, he has a lot in his bag. Like all his highlights that I've seen, he's dunking on dudes, dunking on, innocent kids, just trying to take charges and stuff. You ain't got to dunk on them. You ain't got to dunk on them, young man.
Dunking on innocent kids?
Innocent kids trying to take charge, trying to make the right play for their coach.
What are you talking about? They signed up to play.
Yo.
They didn't grab them out of the hot dog line.
Sometimes when your coach tells you, son, if you don't take the charge, I ain't playing for you for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's tough. And then you get dunked on. You look at coach, and there's no call there because the ref's too busy in awe from the dunk. That's a problem.
When the ref's got getting it on his phone to put on Instagram,
yeah, man, that's not a good look.
That's uncomfortable.
That's not a good look. But Devin Pryor, he's that dude. He's gonna come in really young, and if you see, him and Chris Johnson, both freshmen, both from the Houston area, and you look at the rest of the roster: Tyrese Hunter, Kendall Weaver, Max Asmus, Brock, Dylan Mitchell, Dylan DeSue, Zurich Oyema, Caden Shedrick. Like, this team is getting deeper and deeper as the weeks go on. And Coach Terry, I know he's really excited about this being his team. Last year, everybody was talking about, yeah, coach, you did a good job and all, but you inherited Chris Beard's squad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Coach Terry, this is your team. They look like they're ready to go back to the Elite Eight and make some noise. And there's a lot of talent in college basketball. I always say, which is very true, you got to be able to beat teams in multiple ways. Some days you're going to have a really good shooting night. Oh, I forgot about Ethiel Horton, too, coming from UCF last week. Sometimes you got to be able to shoot the piss out the ball. All right. Sometimes you got to be able to throw the ball inside and say, yo, big man, go get us a bucket. And your big man has to say, I will do that. You got that in Shedrick and DeSue. You got your shooters in Asmus and Horton. You got your floor general in Tyrese Hunter. You got your glue man who, to every other team, he could be a little bit dirty, but to Horns fans, that's what you love. And a Brock Cunningham, you got your high flyers and Dylan Mitchell. You got a little bit of everything, and that's what you need if you want to win a national championship. And ain't rocket science. It ain't. It's very simple. If you get dudes, then you'll be able to compete. UConn had dudes. 2 years before, Baylor had dudes. That's how you win, and Coach Terry, terrific job with this roster. Can't wait till October.
Yeah, interesting news there with Texas. They keep adding pieces for this 23-24 basketball season. So all that's out there. If you want to throw in, Specs text line is 337-3776. We will also take your thoughts, Texas fans, on the two newbies you get to deal with in the Big 12 this year. You will not play Cincinnati. I'm not saying you don't play them ever, but you're going to have to schedule them in a non-conference or play them in a bowl game because you're not playing them this year. Or it could be Big 12 title game, to be fair. You could play them there. You will not be dealing with UCF this year, which that's good news because that's probably the best team of the new teams in the Big 12. You will, however, deal with BYU and Houston. Zay, which of these teams do you want to focus on first here? As a Longhorn fan, you know you go to Houston and you know you host BYU. There's obviously some PTSD from BYU a couple times where everybody wants to joke about dudes on bicycles and Taysom Hill and all that. Where's your focus with these two teams?
Yeah, I think if you were going to Utah, I'd be a little nervous, but not as much them coming to DKR. I guess it would be U of H. I mean, Donovan Smith beat you up last year in Lubbock. Now he's at a new location down with Holgorsen at U of H, but they got 12 starters coming back. I think they might, they're going to get up for Texas. They're just, everybody is, but why, especially them. Especially them. They want their respect.
And you get them at home.
And you
right?
get them at home, exactly.
Get to host them in that stadium.
So it's one of the trap games on the schedule from Baylor to Iowa State, second to last game of the season before you play Tech. There's a lot of trap games in 2023. It is very scary, but hey, you're picked to win the Big 12 for a reason. You got the roster, you got the depth, the coaching has to be there, but again, talent has to override coaching at some point.
Yeah.
You brought guys in, you've recruited well, and BYU and Houston, they shouldn't be a problem for you.
Yeah, Texas definitely should win those games. Donovan Smith is an interesting guy to bring up like you did. And, of course, when it comes to skill guys and quarterbacks, Dana Holgorsen will always get you focused on that. But interesting to me, Dana Holgorsen is not bringing any skill or any quarterbacks to Big 12 Media Days. He's bringing a defensive lineman, 2 offensive linemen, and a linebacker for whatever that tells us. But that game, interestingly enough, that's October 21st. What does that mean? Texas will be off a bye. Houston will have just played West Virginia on a Thursday, so they'll get a little extra time. But that's an interesting little scheduling blip, too, for Houston. Good news, you get to host Texas. Bad news, Texas is off a bye. And Zay, whatever happens against OU and whatever happened in Tuscaloosa, if there's any feelings the Longhorns need to get off their chest, if there's any anger they need to get out of their system, they will be taking it out on Houston with a week off.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a game Texas absolutely has to deal with.
So you talk about Donovan Smith not being there, Dana Holgorsen not bringing in any skill guys to Big 12 Media Days. Do you think that there's a quarterback battle? Because he's not sold on Smith?
It's the first question. If I get to talk to him, that's the first question I'm asking.
Right.
Coach, you're known for offense. You're known for dealing with quarterbacks and all this kind of stuff. I see Donovan Smith listed as your starter in places. Do you agree with that? Is there a battle coming? Why is he, and he's not here. Donovan Smith does have listed as a junior. He's got some experience. So some people don't think those matter. Some people think that that's us media members flipping out, but I always look for who's bringing quarterbacks, especially quarterback-oriented coaches. Holgorsen's not bringing one, and neither is Mike Gundy. I think that matters.
That does matter.
That tells me something. So for those two guys,
neither is Sonny Dykes.
That's true.
TCU.
I'm specifically asking those guys. Why not him? Is there a battle? That's what you have to talk to about those guys when they don't bring quarterbacks. So we'll talk a little Houston and BYU today. If you have thoughts on those, remember, it's those two along with Baylor, Kansas, Oklahoma State, the aforementioned there, with Mike Gundy not bringing a quarterback. TCU, no quarterback there either, like Zay mentioned. And Texas, they are bringing their quarterback, by the way. Quinn Ewers, and a couple skill guys in Xavier Worthy and Jordan Whittington.
I know we're about to get to break and stuff. Chad, go to your Twitter because I sent you this photo of what I'm about to talk about here. It could be where we at type stuff, but I'm not even going to waste my time. Miles Turner, come on, bro. Come on, dog.
What happened
that
now?
Outfit that you were rocking that summer league, wow.
Whoa.
Miles, you look like my Auntie Bernice. My Auntie Bernice, who just got back from Italy. from spending the bag from my uncle, Ray Ray, you look very, very interesting, brother.
Okay.
Very interesting.
I have a slightly different description for that. That looks like something Tyler Perry would wear for a bit. That looks like something Tyler Perry would wear to make me laugh.
So,
doesn't it? Like, what are we doing? And I don't know if he's a man or a woman in that situation either. Because you mentioned Auntie Bernice. Tyler Perry is dressed like that, and he's trying to convince me of something. I just don't know what it is, but I know I'm supposed to be laughing at him.
Miles Turner, come on, dawg. You a Texan, former Texas grade.
That's great.
I mean, you had a solid 1 year. I'll give you that. But, bruh, this dude has on a very colorful scarf. It looks like Easter Sunday. He looks like Auntie Bernice on Easter Sunday.
I'm
He has on the
retweeting it
loafers.
right now. Oh, my God.
He's got on the pink. Is that pink or salmon? Capris.
Yes.
They're not,
I'm going to say pink.
Okay, it's pink.
That's straight up pink.
With an all-white shirt. Like, I get it. It's Vegas. You're trying to be fashionable, but, dog, man.
He makes it look way better than I would.
Wow.
That doesn't say much, but, yeah, I can't get away with that. That's terrible. That is terrible. I just retweeted it at C Hastings 1049. Zay is at ain't_that_Zay. Go check out Miles Turner. So as good as Kai Jones was in that one moment, you're saying that Turner is that bad in his one moment.
It's a tough fit. It's a tough fit. Very zesty. I'm not going to lie. Very zesty.
Are you saying his fit is not on point?
Oh, man.
That's what I got told at the Harry Styles concert, that my fit was on point. Is his fit on point, Zay?
It's not.
Okay, fair enough.
I wish I could say it was. You know, I wish because, he's a Texas brother. You know, I want to be there for him, but this is tough.
I got to go get that scarf. That is incredible.
I got to go get that scarf from my mother.
Oh, my Lord. All right, coming up at 105, Joe Cook of Inside Texas and On3.com. Up next in the crap bag, UFC 290 gave us a great card, and a wild upset at Wimbledon has an American name you might need to learn into the quarterfinals. Next on The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
Oh, my goodness. Do your little turn on the catwalk. All right, Zay, sadly, I know who this is. If you hadn't played it and you weren't staring at it, would you actually know the name of this artist?
I would not. I'm just picturing Miles Turner dancing to this while he got ready for his Summer League game.
Oh, man. Those guys were rocking those mesh shirts in the video. Right Said Fred is the artist, correct?
Yep.
Oh, my God. Yes, Miles Turner getting getting some comments on social media, and to the person who tweeted out the picture of Damon Wayans and David Allen Greer from Men on Films. Yeah, kind of close. It does look like one of those outfits. I had not really thought of that. We hope you're having a good Monday. Big 12 Media Day is coming up on Wednesday. Texas a part of day 1. Oklahoma a part of day 2. So if you're wondering about how those two will be treated, it is the first time Texas has been first day. Like, the whole time I've been covering Texas, I can't remember them being first day. They always save Texas till the end. But then for some reason, this is Texas in the early side. They'll go BYU and Houston on day 1 in terms of the newbies. Cincinnati and UCF will get to go day 2. So Gus Malzahn, you realize that, don't you? Gus Malzahn's going to Jerry World. That's UCF's coach.
Huh.
Everybody remember that guy? Yeah, him. Gus Malzahn. You know they're going to be chunking it around at UCF. We'll get to some more Big 12 talk throughout the day. Joe Cook coming up from inside Texas. Right now, let's get you a crap bag. We will talk about people punching people and dudes punching tickets at Wimbledon. Here we go.
Chad's crap bag.
Crap bag. If you need an easy way to remember it, just think of a bag of crap.
Brought to you by AV Consultations, 255-8678, or go to avconsultations.com. There aren't many people that get equally as excited about fighting and tennis, but hey, that's what the crap bag is about sometimes. UFC 290. What a show we got on Saturday night. Shout out to Alexander Volkanovski. Alexander the Great was awesome. You know how I know you're awesome in fighting? When you make a man or a woman that I know is great look ordinary. Just ordinary. It's probably what Victor Wembanyama is going to do to a lot of guys in the NBA. Yair Rodriguez, El Pantera, is awesome. But Alexander dominated him. Absolutely dominated him. Finished him in the 3rd round. 5th defense of the belt. Volkanovski, you're a badass. The co-main event was a hell of a fight. Alexandre Pantoja, I thought he took the belt. I didn't want him to, but he took the belt from Brandon Moreno. I had it 4 rounds to 1. I know one of the judges had it the other way, 4 rounds to 1. I thought that was silly. To me, it shouldn't have been a split. I think that was unanimous. You could go split decision, I guess, but not 4 rounds to 1, Moreno. I thought he took the belt. That's what has to happen in a championship fight. I thought he took it. Also, the Dricus, I'm going to get the name wrong, Dricus Du Plessis, something like that, the South African guy that beat Robert Whittaker and beat him bad, and now probably gets to fight Adesanya. That face-off in the ring is not safe for work, but it was entertaining. Dan Hooker got a crazy win. Dan Hooker from Australia, I think it's where Dan Hooker's from. Dan Hooker took a kick to the head, flush. Took a kick right to the side of his head. It sounded like a baseball bat hitting a bag of potato chips, and he never flinched. He just kept coming, and he won the fight. And then Bo Nickel got a 38-second TKO. The other guy was on short notice. He took the fight literally 3 or 4 days' notice. A brave dude from Jamaica that took that on. But Bo Nickel got that win. UFC 290 was great. They've got good fights coming. The Adesanya thing is out there. There's other championship fights coming up. If you want to peek in, summertime is usually a good time to do it because they know football's not around, and they're throwing bigger fights at you. So it was good stuff on Saturday night. Plus, Zay, at Wimbledon, the quick update is this. Djokovic is through to the quarters. That's his 56th Grand Slam quarterfinal.
Easy money.
Stupid. Only second only to Federer. He's through. But so is a young man named Christopher Eubanks. You go ahead, Chris Eubanks. He played at Georgia Tech. He is 6'7", long, lean, and a banger out there. Big-time serve, big-time strokes. He was egging the crowd on the whole time. He was asking that crowd to get loud. It was great. And he knocked off Tsitsipas, the 5th seed in this tournament. knocks off the number 5 seed. He fought back from 2 sets to 1. He wins it in 5 sets. His reward is he gets to play the 3rd seed in this tournament, Mr. Medvedev. He is on the opposite side, though. If I'm looking at it right, I think he's on the opposite side from Djokovic. It's about the only good news I can give him, because that means he's on the side of Alcaraz. And if Alcaraz advances, that means he would have to take on Alcaraz in the semis, if I'm reading the draw correctly. But congrats to Christopher Eubanks. Great story. We don't have many great men's, like American men's stories. Tiafoe got knocked out in this tournament, so it was really cool to see Eubanks advance. So that is your update from Wimbledon as it rolls on. Djokovic just headed towards history, looking for number 24 in the Grand Slams and trying to match Roger with number 8 at Wimbledon. A lot of stuff going on around sports, no matter what sports you like. If you're really focused in on football and maybe a little baseball and maybe a little basketball, let's get back to the Longhorn discussion with Joe Cook of Inside Texas. In fact, coming up here in a few minutes, the Major League Baseball draft cranks back up. No Longhorns drafted yet, but we'll ask Joe where he thinks some guys could end up in terms of a round. We'll get his thoughts on football as we get ready for media days, this latest basketball signing for Rodney Terry, and what does he think of David Pierce's new pitching coach? If you missed that story, David Pierce's new pitching coach is David Pierce. Go ahead and rack up the Spider-Man memes. How many of those are we going to get today with David Pierce? Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man? Yeah,
that's a classic meme. I like that.
It's a classic meme. You need to use it today because David Pierce is going with himself as his pitching coach. Saves a little money, though, right? I'm assuming you don't have to pay yourself extra to be your pitching coach.
I mean, I'll go to CDC and be like, yo, I need both, dog. I need both. Run it up a little bit. I need both. I need that pitching coach money and that skipper money.
CDC, I know this guy. He needs a little extra money. He needs a little bit extra. We'll talk to Joe about that coming up. Glad you're with us on this Monday. Don't move. It's The Horn. All right, let's go hour number 2 on a Monday. Home Run Derby tonight. If you're a baseball freak and you like a good show, you got some guys that can put on a show. Alonso and Julio Rodriguez in a round 1 matchup. Watch early. Get there at 7. Do not miss that one. That may be the best show we get all night long. Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s in it. Mookie Betts, don't know what to think of him as a home run hitter. We'll ask our guests coming up maybe about that one. Some other names that we just don't know a lot about in a home run derby, but Alonso Rodriguez, circle that one. Those two guys can always put on a show. That's going on. We also, speaking of baseball, we have UT baseball news. In case you haven't caught it earlier, it was reported David Pierce picks David Pierce as his new pitching coach, plus Troy Tulowitzki is going to be back in the fold with Texas, helping out with the baseball program as well, according to the reports. We'll get, again, Joe Cook's thoughts on that coming up. I'm Chad Hastings, Isaiah Collier alongside. Big 12 Media Days coming up, of course, on Wednesday. Texas gets another football commit in the 24 class. They get a basketball commit that now converts to a class of 23 guy with a reclassification. All that on the board, plus Victor Wembanyama's first and second games in Summer League and the difference between the two. He certainly looked really, really good in that game, too. We've hit all of that. Let's go to the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline, and we'll hit some more stuff with Joe Cook of Inside Texas on 3.com, at Joseph Cook 89 on Twitter. We hit him every Monday about this time. What's up, Joe?
Not a whole lot, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Man, thank you. It always seems like there's plenty of Longhorn stuff to deal with. Obviously, we've got, football stuff to get into with media days coming up. But let me get your thoughts on this David Pierce story. First off, reported a little earlier today that David Pierce is going to step up and become the pitching coach. Everybody knows that's one of his things in baseball, what he's been known for. He's done that in the past. Now he's going to do it here. What do you make of the move and Tulowitzki coming back and all of that? What does this say to you?
Yeah, as far as David Pierce taking over this spot, being the pitching coach, I think after seeing some of the turnover the past couple of years, instead of looking for a third pitching coach in 3 years, he's just going to, be able to directly communicate the philosophy that he wants his pitchers to utilize, the strategy, all that. He'll be able to do that himself. It's a move. It's an interesting move, obviously, this far into his tenure. But there is you can take a little solace in the fact that, this is his area of expertise. He made his hay at Rice and became a name to know in college baseball because of the way he coaches pitchers. I'm curious to see how this affects the rest of the program. Obviously, David Pierce was head coach. Now he's pitching coach. And I got to think that it may be tough for him to continue to be third base coach. But there's probably going to be a little bit more, or actually, I don't think there will be more movement going on with the coaching staff. But I think they're going to have to figure out who's going to be the third base coach for the upcoming season. And also who's going to still help with the pitching. There's going to be, he's still the head coach. And while it's going to be a lot of his responsibilities, there's going to be some days when he's going to have to go check out other parts of the program. And so that they do have some help in that area. Chris Gordon, who's coordinator for hitting and pitching development, he was a full-fledged bench coach, I believe, at Duke, was a pitching coach there, and they've had some good staffs over the years. So very interesting. Then as far as Tulo goes, I think we had mentioned plenty last year that even though he wasn't an official part of the program, he stuck around in Austin. He would come by and help, I think, in whatever advisory role the NCAA allows for someone like that to have. He's not going to be a full-fledged assistant like he was as volunteer assistant a couple of years ago during his tenure on the bench, but he's going to be under the roof of the program. Will not have as many limitations. Will be able to work in the office and work with players a little bit more. And that's a big deal. And the draw of working with Troy Tulowitzki is a big reason why Skylar Messenger even transferred from Kansas. The draw of Troy Tulowitzki helped with a lot of different players and helped the program in a lot of different aspects. So I think that's big news to have him back in an official capacity. He's someone who likes being in Austin. He likes not having to play or try to get his body ready for a 162-game season, and he likes staying around the game of baseball. And Texas is going to be able to, even more so than previously when he was just kind of a consultant, be able to reap the benefits of that going forward into the 2024 season. And, maybe we'll see if it continues and extends when they go over to the SEC.
Yeah, Joe, we know the love Tulu got in the clubhouse. He's a big part of this university at this point. It was weird not seeing him last year, but like you said, he's always been around, and I'm not surprised that he's back with this squad. But with the Major League Draft, going on yesterday and continuing today, and we knew those LSU guys would go 1-2. Are you surprised that nobody from the University of Texas was selected yesterday? And who do you expect to maybe get selected today?
No, I wasn't really surprised that nobody from Texas got picked. I think if you were, maybe Tanner Witt would be the name that people would expect to go in that first 69, first 70 picks. But the Tommy John concerns and stuff like that, in that recovery, dipping a little bit on his velocity probably slid him out of that range. To start your flex segment a little bit early, Travis Sikora from Round Rock was just picked number 71 by the Nationals, and he was a Texas signee. That's $1 million slot value, and I think that any team that's picking right now probably did some communication with guys in this range last night. So best of luck to the Dragon as he goes most likely into the Nationals organization. There's a few other guys that they're watching from the class. That's always the big risk with baseball recruiting. You can, if you get all these equivalent of 5-star guys, they're all probably going to get picked up in the draft, and then they're going to, you're left with nothing in the class. So you have to thread a very, very difficult needle in recruiting. As far as guys on the roster, the important, I guess, point to note is that 10th round, because after the 10th round, I always tell people that teams don't pick somebody in the first 10 rounds without intending to sign them. There's, I think, I don't know the exact way it works, but I think there's a little bit more leeway after that. But anybody in rounds 1 through 9, they want those guys on the team. And in that system. So you're watching for, of course, Tanner Witt still, Lucas Gordon, LeBaron Johnson, Dylan Campbell, even someone like Garrett Guillemette and Porter Brown. You're watching those names because, they could elect to, if they get picked up, start their professional career. But I think those are all guys who have a little bit of leverage. They can come back and tell a team, look, you better give me what I'm looking for bonus-wise or money-wise, or I can come back. And that's something you got to watch. But 10th round or later, some guys will still elect to go, but I think that brings up the chances of them coming back. But should be interesting. And unlike some of the other drafts and even last night, things start rolling with the MLB draft at this point. The picks are going to come quick, fast, and in a hurry. So over the next couple of days, there won't be a lot of downtime. It's just going to be pick, and we'll learn pretty quickly.
Yeah, it starts to fly. Yeah, they got cranked back up right at 1 o'clock at the top of this hour. Talking with Joe Cook inside Texas. Obviously follows baseball very closely, but also all the other Longhorn sports. Joe, we're getting ready for Big 12 Media Days, Wednesday and Thursday. What's got you excited as you're about to head to Jerry World for the last time for Texas? What do you think we're going to get out of this last trip to Jerry World for Texas in terms of Media Days?
There's going to be a lot of national voices there. It's like that at every Big 12 Media Days. Guys who maybe they're covering the whole conference, or maybe they're covering college football at large, and they show up to Big 12 Media Days, and they're going to ask a bunch of SEC questions, and it makes sense that Texas is going to the SEC, Oklahoma's going to the SEC. But guys, we've been around this program enough over the past couple of months to know that they're not even going to mention that. They're going to be like, yeah, we're looking forward to it, but Big 12, Big 12, Big 12. Sarkisian's mentioned it. Players have mentioned it. I think y'all saw, I know when Sark was on with Greg McElroy, he mentioned that there was kind of a player idea to post that 2023 schedule graphic when the 2024 opponents were being announced. So the national media is going to come in and looking for, talking about the SEC and stuff like that. They're not going to get anything like that from Texas coaches or players. But, as far as things I'm interested in, there's no quarterback battle, but there is a running back battle, I guess to say, with Jonathan Brooks, Keelan Robinson, Jaden Blue, C.J. Baxter. Sarkisian likes to say he has a run-first offense, so it's pretty important. That's a pretty important position. Really curious how that shakes out. And then, of course, you can't, even though there's no quarterback battle, you got to figure out how Quinn has handled this offseason and what he's thinking heading into this year because, if we all had it our way and we're thinking, hey, let's live in a perfect world, Quinn has a big year this year, goes and gets drafted in the first 2 rounds, maybe even first round, and then the battle between Malik Murphy and Arch Manning begins. That's assuming a lot of really good news, and it's still possible, but Quinn Ewers has to show that if that's going to be something that can happen, he's got to explain, what he did in the offseason to make that happen, how he's trying to bring others with him, how he's working on aspects of his game that didn't really work out and stuff like that. So you'll get the SEC talk, but as far as offense goes, looking at the running back position and then trying to figure out how Quinn Ewers has improved his game compared to his redshirt freshman season.
Joe, a guy who will be at Big 12 Media Day representing Texas that I don't think gets enough credit, but after Jalen Ford, I thought he was the best defender on the team last year in 2022. Jahdae Barron, who starts at that nickel star position, he was terrific last year, the Austin Conley native. And I think that he's going to have another huge year where a lot of NFL scouts are going to take notice and say, man, this is a guy that could play some serious minutes on Sundays. What are you expecting from Jahdae Barron at Big 12 Media Day and this year in 2023?
Yeah, Jahdae is one of the more interesting players to interview because he can talk about anything. He can really kind of talk about the culture of Texas and things like that. Can also really get down to the X's and O's with you. So it's pretty interesting, and I'm with you. I think the fact that he played multiple positions kind of maybe clouded in some of the opposing coaches' minds that, maybe they didn't have a spot for him on their preseason team, or media members' minds that they didn't have a spot for him on his preseason team. But Jahdae Barron was a difference maker for the Texas defense last year, playing a really tough position, playing it well, and helping out the Longhorns a lot. It should be a big year for him. I think something for Texas to determine, though, and I think we have an idea that the answer will be star, but will he be better? Will the defense be better served with him maybe playing corner, or will it be better served with him playing star? Because although granted, some of Barron being a little bit banged up before that first couple games last year had to do with this, but Jalen Gilbo got a lot of starts and got some action before his own injury last year. So should be. I'm tracking that, but I think he'll end up at star. Give Texas a safety trio of Jalen Catalon, Jaron Thompson, and Jahdae Barron. It's a lot of experience, a lot of know-how, a lot of athleticism, and it'll make whoever ends up being the field corner, that last spot where there's competition, make that player's life a lot easier because of what Barron's able to do.
Joe, let's get a couple recruiting thoughts from you on the football side. Anything you know about Aaron Hampton you could share with Longhorn fans? Kid out of Dangerfield, number 13 in the class.
Yeah, this is his third overall commitment, his second commitment to Texas. The Longhorns beat the Crimson Tide for him. And you go and watch his film, he's just a really darn good football player. He meets what I call the Jordan Whittington standard, which is, are you the best? If you're playing in a small classification like Dangerfield is, are you the best player on pretty much every field you step on? And Aaron Hampton meets that criteria. At this point, he's an athlete. Take for Texas, could be a really heavy safety, could be a really good slot receiver. He's got good speed. Doesn't have great speed. He will be able to run by people at that level, but may not be the strength of his game at the next level. But he's got really great short area quickness. Like, he is someone who is just able to get past guys in a phone booth and do the most out of that slot position. I like him on offense. He is coming off, I think, an injury that he suffered late last year and during Dangerfield's playoffs. So I'm really curious to see how he holds up. But it's a example of Texas taking a really good football player. He's not going to really affect how wide receiver recruiting goes because he is such an athlete take. Texas wants 4 wide receivers in the class, and I think they do that. They want that plus Aaron Hampton. I think there could be an event or two left in this recruitment. Just kind of a fact of the matter when you're dealing with someone who's already on their 3rd commitment, and kind of a rarity, decommitted from Texas and then committed back to Texas. But I like the player that Texas has in him, and he should be someone who benefits from a lot of focused people in Austin, showing them that there's a lot of competition to be the best on Saturdays in the fall.
Yeah, Joe, that's very rare because usually when somebody decommits, they gone. They getting money from NIL under the table or whatever. They're just thinking the grass is always greener. That's big time for him to come back to Texas, and big time for Sark and that coaching staff for getting them back. Let me ask you about Coach Terry and this basketball team getting Devin Pryor, a former LSU commit who was a part of the 2024 class and is now reclassifying to 2023, even though he's a bit young. And after the Ethiel Horton, commit last week from transfer from UCF, the locker room's a little thick, but Devin Pryor, he's on his way to the 40 acres.
Yeah, and he's from PSAT Academy in Houston, which, guys, I grew up there, spent my first 18 years of my life there, and I have not heard of PSAT Academy, but 6'7", kind of lanky, could use some development, and that's what he's probably going to get at Texas. He may not see any minutes this upcoming year, and that's because, obviously he's going to be young for his grade. He's going to be maybe behind in the physical and, developmental aspect of the game. So instead of working out, and this isn't a slight at PSAT Academy, it's just a complete unknown for me. But what I do know is that Texas and Rodney Terry and the strength and conditioning staff and, the new center, the new indoor facility is going to offer him a lot more than whatever his high school could. And he'll be able to likely wait a year, may not see him much this year, but 6'7", a body you can develop, a good athlete, and someone that you may see him in a couple of years and be thankful that Rodney Terry took the chance on him. And like you said, former LSU commit, and it just is a way to even anything. There's not a lot of 6'7" wing guys like that in college basketball, and Texas is banking on its ability to maybe create one over the next couple of years. So good pickup. Definitely surprised a lot of people. Something that came a little bit out of the blue, but it's something we were ready for over on Inside Texas. Jerry Hamilton had it the whole time. And although this may be the last time we really talk about him until next year or maybe the year after, maybe similar to what Brock Cunningham had to end up doing for Shaka in that first year.
Joe, before we let you go, a quick 2-part baseball question on the major league side. First off, give me your pick for tonight's home run derby, and then as an Astros fan, tell me about your confidence level, only down 2 to the Rangers as we hit the break.
Yeah, I guess I got to go with Pete Alonso, just because he's Mr. Home Run Derby. I'm confident, but a lot of it depends on the Astros training staff. They're kind of walking wounded right now. You don't have Jordan in the lineup. Altuve's been hampered. Fromber's not even going to pitch in the All-Star game because he's coming off some bumps and bruises. Michael Brantley, who knows if he's going to play again. Jose Urquidy. There's just a lot of young players who've had to carry the load for the Astros, and yet they're still only 2 games back of a Rangers team that spent, however many $500 million on its middle infield, trying to develop some through the minors, and still only have a couple games and have really limped into the All-Star break. So I'm really confident. I've kind of looked at this year thinking with some of the injuries and some of the departures that it's hard to maintain excellence, and that's what the Astros have been for the past few years. So my goal and my kind of standard has just been to make the playoffs this year and then see what happens. That's all I'm really looking for. they're in position for that right now. But if they're able to overcome some of the injuries and the struggles and all that stuff, and maybe take down the Rangers and win the West, even with all the problems they've had, that'd be something, and be a credit to the testament to the culture of the team.
Yeah, no doubt. That's Joe Cook, Inside Texas on 3.com, at Joseph Cook 89 on Twitter. Joe, we appreciate the time. Safe travels to and from Jerry World. Looking forward to seeing you up there, and we will chat with you next week.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
you, brother.
Joe.
Joe Cook, some good stuff there. Talking about Aaron Hampton, best guy on the field, no doubt about it. That's always good. That's what you want, Zay, like he said, out of those lower level guys.
Yeah.
You got to be a total badass like Whittington was.
I need you to be the safety. I need you to be the nose tackle at times, offensively, running back, wide receiver, kick punts, return punts.
Yeah.
All the above. You need to be all that if you come from one of those lower schools, and it seems like Hampton is. I like his comparison to Jordan Whittington. Good get for Sark.
Yeah, and stay healthy, too.
And say, yeah, exactly.
Did you mention that part?
See, that's the thing. That's what Bucky Gobble always used to say. I still says it to this day, that was what he was terrified when he was coaching at Texas in the 90s, and he would recruit these running backs, and he would see, like, damn, you look beat up, son.
Right.
Like these guys.
Or he'd see them playing all the
He'd see
different
them
positions.
playing all the positions. They just do too much, and when they get to campus, they ain't got much.
Right.
Because they were beat up the whole time. So sometimes they might have to redshirt. But yeah, that Jordan Whittington thing, he jumped right into college football and the injuries started to come, man. You have to think about it. Just all the workload that he had back in Cuero.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks to Joe for his time. Coming up, we'll get Where We At in Society with Zay, see what he wants to get into today. There's a lot of wild stories out there, as always, in the world of sports, especially in the summertime. Things get a little crazy around NBA, Summer League, and all of that. Also up next, we'll get you a flex segment, watch list, offers, and camps. Oh, my, including a massive flex name that's already become massive at the highest level. He's coming back to town for an event. We'll tell you about that next on The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
Wow. Sounds like somebody's about to make me a pina colada in outer space. It's like vacationing on Mars. That's what it feels like. I do not recognize this one.
Wait to the lyrics.
Okay. Oh, wait a second.
Very 80s.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is going to be wrong, but the only name in my head is Jodie Watley, but that's not her, I don't think.
She got a group.
No.
Expose.
No, yeah, okay. Expose. I wasn't coming up with that one. Expose. What's the song called?
Let me be the one.
Let me be the one. Expose to go with Right Said Fred and the Santana Rob Thomas classic that started it off today. Thanks to Zay for all the great music. Thanks to you for checking us out on this Monday and supporting the shows and the station. Specs text line is 337-3776. If you want to jump in, we've had Spurs fans jumping in on Victor Wembanyama and what they saw. Obviously, good news for Texas football recruiting, another commitment for the 24 class. Texas basketball recruiting, adding something to the 23 class they didn't even think they were going to have. Devin Pryor, who was going to go to LSU in the 24 class, now ends up at Texas in the 23 class. Plus, we've got the Big 12 Media Days coming up Wednesday and Thursday. We'll have a couple shows there on Wednesday. Obviously, we'll be talking all about it Wednesday and Thursday. And you've heard the love already given to our travel sponsor, Hays City Store, as well as One Source Gas Austin. So we'll be telling you about them as well. Coming up at 2 o'clock, another quarterback list from Zay. But it's the other end of the quarterback list. Last week, we talked about the quarterbacks that had the best conversion percentage on 3rd and 5 or longer.
That's right.
And Dak Prescott ended up was Dak 2?
Dak was 2.
Ooh, Dak was 2 on that list.
Patrick Mahomes was number 1.
And Mahomes was 1. Today, the great news for you Cowboy fans is Dak is not on today's list. Today is the bottom of the barrel in the NFL. So what are we doing, Zay? You going bottom 10?
Bottom 10.
Beautiful. Bottom 10, 3rd and long conversion among quarterbacks. We'll get to that list coming up at 2 o'clock. Zay's got Where We At in Society coming up. Real quick, though, let's get you a flex segment. We'll remind you about the watch list, plus a big name is coming back to where he made his name. Here we go.
Flex ATX for the best high school sports coverage. Listen to the Horn and go to FLXATX.com. Flex 30 is brought to you by Brain Vault. Brain Vault is a revolutionary and patented mouthguard that has been proven to help reduce the risk of concussion. Visit brainvault.com and join the movement.
All right, by the calendar, I see it is 2 weeks away from All Flex Watch List time. We'll be unveiling the All Flex Watch List for 2023 the week of July 24th. So get all your info, get your names, send in those videos at FLXATX on social media if you feel like there's somebody out there that we just don't know about. Maybe they're not getting enough love and you want to get them some love. Let the Flex crew know about it. Also, some congratulations going out. I saw Carson Workman tweeted out, the running back from Hendrickson. He just got back from that FBU camp in Florida, was named all-camp team.
So he was balling.
Congratulations to that young man. Yeah, you go to a camp in Florida and get named on the all-team, you're not just showing up.
Nah, this ain't no vacation for you.
You are playing. By the way, he also made a comment on social media about how the Texas boy was dealing with that Florida heat.
Oh, yeah. It's different.
It wasn't nothing, I'm sure, but he was ready. He was dealing with that Florida heat. Good for him. So shout out to you, Carson. Also, I saw that there's another offer for Jacob Henry. Who's going to, of course, be Jacob Henry at Vandergrift. He is got an offer from Yale now.
Ah, smart man.
Yale just dipping into this Austin area, grabbing guys from different schools.
Ivy League loves Austin.
How about that? Yeah, they do. So a Yale offer for Jacob Henry. And then the big name that I referenced, Zay, is Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson is having his first youth football camp in Austin. You can go to FLXATX, check out the Twitter account, check out social media there for a link to this camp coming up. So Garrett Wilson goes to the Jets. Obviously, huge story around these parts. Turns into the offensive rookie of the year in the NFL, and now he's coming back to Austin for his first camp. Very cool.
Yeah, giving back. We know him and Brett Beatty are very close, the third baseman for the Mets, and Garrett, hey, he's representing the ATX very well in the NFL. We know he didn't go to Texas. We know Tom Herman mucked that all up. But, hey, Ohio State, you know, it's wide receiver U there right now. They're probably going to get another top 5 wide receiver in Marvin Harrison Jr. And, yeah, Garrett Wilson looking to have an even bigger season than this offensive rookie year, 2022, because now they have Aaron Rodgers. So,
yeah. You think that'll matter?
Yeah, I was about to call him 12, but now he's 8.
Oh, that's right. You had to change the number.
That's going to look a little weird.
Can't have Joe's number.
Yeah. I think Garrett Wilson's going to have an even better year than 2022. And shout out to him for coming back here to host a camp. I know he has his camps in the Jersey, New York area, and I think he also has one in the Columbus area, which both of those make sense. He used to play Ohio State, now plays for the Jets. And coming back here to Austin, Texas, not forgetting where he came from, giving back. That's special. So shout out to Garrett Wilson.
Very cool. By the way, you want to go single digit when you've done the ayahuasca training. It just slims you out. Everything just slimming you up. Yeah. That's what Aaron Rodgers is doing. Yeah, that Jets team is going to be interesting to watch. There's your flex segment. We do it every day at 1:30. Zay, a couple things before this break. This Texas baseball story. Somebody sent us a text that I think it's a desperation move. I don't see how being the head coach and the pitching coach simultaneously is possible. This is a unique thing. We don't see this near as much in baseball as we do in football. There are coaches that go head coach. I'm going to be my own. Maybe if I'm not my own OC, I will call plays. But to be the pitching coach and the head coach, it is interesting. And Joe Cook mentioned earlier in the hour, hey, is he still going to be the third base coach? That's going to be something to watch.
That would be a lot.
Does he have to change the way he thinks about, that? Here's the other thing. How does it work in terms of you're allowed so many visits, but a visit by your pitching coach and a visit by your head coach are different? Because remember, when the head coach heads out of the dugout sometimes, he has to go get him. Has to. But in certain circumstances, so does he have to designate? Like, does he have a different hat he can wear and go, hey, I'm the pitching coach right now, going to see the pitcher. Is that good? I'm not the head coach. How does that work?
I mean, at the end of the day, you want to eat, and sometimes you have too much food on that plate. We asked the same questions about Steve Sarkisian and him calling plays, but also being the head coach at the University of Texas. Like, is it going to be too much for David Pierce to be the skipper, but also be the pitching coach?
Right.
We will see, but obviously CDC has a lot of confidence in him because the move is made. And yeah, it's going to be huge that David Pierce brings in somebody to replace him at third base coach, because you need somebody that you could trust. I like Tulu coming back, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. That's a lot of weight on your shoulders.
It is.
I don't know if it's necessarily desperation, but it's definitely more responsibility.
Yeah, and ultimately I'm joking about the visit thing because that's just a visit number issue. So on that last visit, whatever that number is, if whoever walks out, and that is usually the coach, then you got to make a move.
Right.
So ultimately, some of that's not going to matter. I just wonder how they're going to deal with the details. I know we'll hear from David Pierce about all that as we're getting ready for the 2024 season. We've also talked about Victor Wembanyama and the performance last night. It was impressive. 27 points, 12 boards, 3 blocks in the game. Just the presence that he provides was so impressive to watch. And Zay, I'll just keep saying it. At 7'3", I don't think I've seen 7'3" move that way. What Joker can give you is one thing, but it's just a different body style. It works a little differently. He's got that like freaky Shaq thing going on to me. When his feet start moving, I'm reminded of that. I've said there's a little Pau Gasol in him
For sure.
for Joker. But with Victor, I'm not exactly sure. Again, the only guy I keep going back to is, if they'd let Ralph Sampson handle the ball more, and if Ralph Sampson had been better at handles, and had been working out like this kid does, maybe that's the comparison, but it's so unique.
And Ralph Sampson would have told you if they would have let me dribble the ball,
right,
because you dribbling the ball at 7 foot in the 80s was basically a crime.
They couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it. You weren't allowed to do it. Hell, you were barely allowed to shoot pull-up threes before Steph Curry. Like, different guys changed the game. And Yeah, man. Victor Wembanyama, he showed us on Sunday why he's so special. Friday, a lot of nerves, a lot of distractions with the Britney Spears stuff. And somebody said, oh, Zay, you must not have been a teenager in the 2000s and stuff. I was a teenager in 2000. Britney Spears is B-list now. There was one point in time she was A-list on top of the world. It was Britney and who else? Like Christina Aguilera, even with her beautiful voice, she couldn't touch Britney. But now, Britney, B-list. Sorry, the stuff going, what she did, that's B-list stuff, Britney. Sorry, can't turn back now. But still, Victor Wembanyama hasn't been able to focus on basketball that much. Now you're going from overseas. The NBA game is so much different, so much more spacing. You're playing with horrible summer league players. Like, some guys are good. I like Champagnie, and Wesley has a lot of promise. Brenham does too. But at the end of the day, everybody's out for theirs. And once Wembanyama realized it, said, yo, I just need to play my game, let the game come to me. I'm going to get my touches when I do, but if I don't, I'm going to make an impact defensively. If you look at the history of the NBA, greatest players of all time, Jordan, Kareem, LeBron, Bird, Magic, they all play defense too. All of them.
Yep.
Like Magic had
good sense for that.
Like, he has a great sense for defense,
feel it,
especially when he switches out on guards. That's probably the biggest liability for bigs in the NBA when they switch out on guards on the perimeter. And most of the time, the guard that has the ball in their hands, they work that big.
Yeah.
He won't get work very often.
Yeah.
So when that shot clock goes down at 7 and 6 and he's pressuring up into you, like if you go by him, you got to worry about his 8'8" wingspan blocking the shot chase down style.
Because he's following you.
Right.
Yep.
If you try to do a step back jumper, you got to worry about that 8'8" wingspan contested.
Yeah, God help you if you're 6'3" and you try a fadeaway.
It's ridiculous, man. So
that's crazy.
Teams are really going to struggle trying to figure him out defensively in this offensive game, which I think is going to come second. You could tell just the jumper is pure, like you said, Chad, the way that he handles the rock. We've never seen anything like it. And he was dunking on fools on yesterday. He caught that one and dunked it with the right hand. That was nasty and too easy. He had the putback on his own miss where he tip dunked it. Like, just stupid stuff that we've never seen before. He might do that every single game.
Yeah, it's not. I can't remember the last time I saw a guy in an NBA game, summer league in this case, but an NBA game dunk a ball, and I thought, oh, they probably need to raise that goal like 2 feet. Like I've just never had that thought watching the NBA, and he kind of makes you think that.
Shout out to Chris Paul and Steph Curry sitting together at the Warriors game.
Yeah,
that commodity early.
They officially announced Chris Paul. He held the jersey up, and they worked out together. Not just went and sat at the game together. Chris Paul, they did a workout together, and they both admitted it was so weird.
Oh, yeah.
That's very bizarre.
That's some serious beef that Chris Paul and Steph Curry have had over the, last decade or so. Both of those guys are from North Carolina, so they've known each other. And a big reason why Chris Paul doesn't have a ring is because of Steph Curry. Those teams in Houston were pretty damn good with Chris Paul and James Harden, and they got very close, but the person who always stopped them was Steph and the Warriors. So now that you're a part of Dub Nation along with Clay and Draymond, how are you going to fit? I know Chris Paul's been asked questions already about, hey, are you good with coming off the bench and you being Chris Paul? He said, oh, you the coach? That's what he said. For one, Chris Paul, you better come off the bench. The
answer is I'll do whatever they need.
Do whatever they need. Very simple. Them guys that go into the Hall of Fame and stuff, they think different.
Steve Kerr's the boss is the answer to that question.
I don't understand that, Chris. Don't already cause conflict.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't even put the jersey on yet. You held the jersey. It hasn't been put on. That's Steph's world. Like what Bradley Beal said about Devin Booker, who hasn't won nada. Like, he ain't won none. He said, this is Book's land. And that's what you're supposed to say. Steph Curry has 4 rings.
Yeah, all these guys have 4. You got nothing.
Nothing.
Just be quiet and play.
Which everybody, when the Warriors don't win, they're going to look at Chris Paul and blame him.
Absolutely.
So he already is in a bad situation. So, he needs to just be cooperative. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am type stuff. And just realized that, hey, I don't got many years left.
God.
I need to make the most of it because
Yes.
the way they did him in Phoenix is pretty cold. For a future Hall of Famer, the likes of him, it's pretty cold.
Hey, have we ordered those donuts? Anybody need to go pick them up? I could pick them up. I live right near there. Y'all need me to pick up those donuts? Whatever you need.
Giving them rookie duty.
Whatever you need. Coming up at 2 o'clock, the worst quarterbacks in the NFL when it comes to third and long. But up next, it's Where We At in Society with Zay. We'll see if there's any more drama in the NBA or is it something else. Stay tuned. It's The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
All right, this one I think I've got. Also very poppy, just like the last one, but I think I've got this one. This is Madonna.
Madonna.
Mm-hmm.
Off the Who's That Girl motion picture soundtrack.
Ooh, way back. Now, is Who's That Girl Sean Penn? No, Who's That Girl's the different one. Who's That Girl's the one with Arquette. That's a different one. Under the Tuscan Sun or Under the something moon. Cherry Moon, maybe? She did that with Sean Penn when they were married, I think.
Ah.
That had to be a hell of a set. Those two on the same movie. Oh, my God. All right, Madonna, Expose, Right Said Fred, and Santana with Rob Thomas. All a part of the show today. We hope you are having a good one. A lot of great text rolling in on the Specs text line, 337-3776. Says future Hall of Famers don't do rookie duty at this stage in their careers. I'd go as far as to ask the question, what has Chris Paul done to deserve to go to the Hall of Fame? At least worth the conversation.
Wow, that's so disrespectful.
Whoa! How about that?
I mean, look, I'm all about not putting anybody in the Hall of Fame. Chris Paul deserves to go.
Right. And somebody's saying, so Carmelo and Harden are not great. Or we're not saying you can be great and not win a title. We're just saying in terms of Chris Paul versus Steph and the guys in Golden State. They've all got those rings already.
Yeah.
And he's walking into a situation where he's got nothing. And Zay was comparing to the situation with Bradley Beal, who has nothing, but he's also going to a group of people. Now, Durant's got his.
Yes.
But Booker does not. And he was still giving Booker the love of being one of the leaders of that team, even though Booker doesn't have the jewelry.
Right.
So that was kind of the discussion we were having there.
And Chris Paul's doing all the right things. He's working out with Steph Curry. He's hanging out with Steve Kerr and stuff. Like, there's a meme where Chris Paul and Steve Kerr, back in the Houston days, Steve Kerr said something and Chris Paul pretended to act like he was happy. Then once he turned around, he put on a scowl. It's cold-blooded. One of my favorite memes of all time.
Wow.
But, yeah, Chris Paul, he's a tough son of a bee. Like, when he competes, he competes. He don't like you. A lot of people say he does some dirty Stockton-like things. I've seen it, and I get it. He's made some enemies. So he's bounced around the league a lot. Definitely a future Hall of Famer. When you compare Carmelo and James Harden, some guys are great, but they've never won a championship. It'll always be like that.
And all three of those guys are Hall of Famers.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, first ballot.
No doubt. All right, so a lot of stuff going on basketball-wise. Baseball-wise, you got Home Run Derby tonight, All-Star Game tomorrow as we hit that crazy dead week in sports when baseball even shuts down for a couple of days. We'll talk some more NFL coming up at 2. Right now, though, let's go where we at in society, see what Zay wants to get into.
Where are we at in society today?
All right, Zay, what do I need to do here? Am I checking Twitter or where am I going?
Yeah, go to Twitter. You still don't got a Threads yet?
I don't have Threads
Come on,
yet.
man. You
no.
gotta step it up.
I'm so sorry.
It's all good.
You let me know. You send me a login.
Yeah. I got you on Twitter. Though.
Okay.
So, Jeannie Buss, which Jeannie put this out a long time ago, but Shaquille O'Neal obviously just came around to it. Jeannie Buss, former... What is she, LA's owner? Well, she is the Los Angeles Lakers owner, but
yes.
Also daughter of Jerry Buss, legendary Lakers owner who's no longer with us.
Mm-hmm.
She put out her all-time most important Lakers, top 5 most important Lakers. That doesn't mean best Lakers. It just means, in her opinion, most important.
Oof, that's a heavy word to throw in there. Okay.
The reason why Shaquille O'Neal put this out there, because he was not on this list, Chad.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean,
what are we doing?
It's the Lakers. You know, they got greats, some of the greatest in all of sports, not just the NBA. So in this list, she put Kobe 1, respect it. Kareem 2, respect it.
Yep.
LeBron James, Jenny, you're tripping.
We gotta stop.
You're bugging. You're bucking a little bit.
Come on.
Magic Johnson, I feel it.
Yes.
Shouldn't be after LeBron, but I feel it. And then her ex-lover, who didn't even play for the Lakers, but was a big part of their history, Phil Jackson.
See, here's what I don't get. If you're going to do this, don't you just think it through and say, wait a second, let me take Phil out of the discussion. And if I say most important Lakers, technically that's not Phil Jackson.
Look.
Phil Jackson was never a Laker. He was the head coach of the Lakers. That's different. So put Shaq in. this is just disrespectful on multiple levels. If you're going to go 1 through 5, how is LeBron ahead of Magic Johnson? That's stupid. I could even argue why. I mean, I can make the argument, why is Kobe ahead of Magic Johnson if we really want to play the game? But let's leave that to the side for a second. Why wouldn't you just get Shaq in there, take Phil out? Because it's Lakers. That means players, Jeannie.
I mean, obviously, Phil Jackson has laid down that Zen master in the bedroom.
This is horrible.
To make her decision kind of murky here.
That's dumb.
It has to be something, because he's your ex. Like, it's not like y'all are still together. He's an ex.
Or state it clearly, most important members of the Lakers organization. Yeah. But guess what? Then Busco, her dad, goes in before he does.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, yeah, she made it way too complex, then screwed it up at the same time.
Her dad saved the franchise.
Yes. So, yeah, so if you're going to include Phil, then you're kind of dissing your dad in a weird way. That's strange. The Shaq diss is an obvious one. Like, do we really need to have the discussion about the most important Lakers, about whether it's Shaq or LeBron? Are we so lost, Zay, in the LeBron versus Michael Jordan discussion with the younger NBA crowd that we can't even have this one realistically? Shaq or LeBron?
Shaq has played with a lot of teams, from the Magic to the Heat, etc. He played for the Celtics a little bit, the Cavs, Suns. But when you remember Shaq, Lakers is the first Shaq you remember.
Think about where they were when they got him. Where were the Lakers when they got Shaq? He helped bring them out of a dark time.
They were in the funk. Magic was trying to play again. Husky Magic. That was not a good time.
They were in a mess right there.
Vlade was still on the team. It wasn't a good time.
He went ring, 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 MVP of the finals. Bam, bam, bam. And you put his second in command at number 1? Like, there's so many levels of insult to this.
I get Kobe being number 1. If we're talking most important, I think Kobe Bryant is him and Magic. They're battling out for number 1. Kareem is interesting. I don't know.
Kareem's got to be on the list. I would put him there.
I don't know if he's most important. If we're talking about greatest Lakers of all time, yes. Right. But most important, like, Cap was to himself. You know, Cap wasn't in the limelight. He hated the media. He hated fans. So it's hard to be important when you represent yourself that way, because, you know, people might love you, but, you know, it's a different type of love.
I think the fact that if you made this list and didn't put him on it, Magic would lose his mind tells you Kareem needs to be on it. I think Magic would be pissed if Kareem's not there.
But Magic should be in front of Kareem, too.
I agree with that, too. Yep. Why is Magic 4? Like, I have so many questions for Jeannie Buss here. Why put the order in there? Why have Phil in there? And if you're going to do an order and have Phil in there, like, there's a discussion to be had, like, put LeBron, Shaq, and then you'd have to add her dad if you're going to have a Lakers discussion with Phil Jackson and you're not clear about who's in there.
Yeah, I mean,
come on.
For one, Jeannie, Jerry West should be on there over LeBron. LeBron shouldn't be in this list at all.
Yes, now that's an interesting point.
Yes, he got you that one ring, but this dude was the freaking logo. Now, I know if you go watch that Showtime HBO biopic, Jerry West, I know some of that's a little fiction, but if she knew how real Jerry West was, especially with her pops, if any of that's real, then maybe I could see why he's not on this list for you as most important. But come on, man. George Mikan, even though I know that was Minneapolis, Elgin Baylor, like there's dudes. They got dudes that have put on that iconic purple and gold.
Dude, I will defend Shaq's face on that one. His face needs to look that way. That's absolutely silly.
Hell, Big Game James might be in it before Bron.
Oh, come on.
Like, I'm talking about Lakers. Big Game James, 88, Game 7 against the Pistons.
You gonna put
triple-double?
You putting Cooper and Rambis in there ahead of him? Is Byron Scott next? Is that what you're doing? We don't need to go that far. Let's not go that far.
Now, Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel, Jeannie, come on. Now, one thing that Jeannie didn't do wrong.
Nick Van Exel.
One thing that Jeannie didn't do wrong, Chad, and I've brought this up with Jeannie Buss, That Playboy spread, still iconic.
Oh, okay. All right.
The Playboy spread where she was butt-ass naked at the forum.
Still giving her credit for that.
I'll give her credit for that. So it's hard for me to hate on Jeannie Buss here, but yeah, shame on you.
Oh, it's all a qualified list sometimes. That is unbelievable. All right, there you go. I just retweeted that at C Hastings 1049. Zay threw it out there too at ain't that _ Zay. All right, 2 o'clock hour is coming up. We'll start with that quarterback list. When it's 3rd and long, who are the worst of the worst? Who are the bottom 10 quarterbacks in the NFL that you don't want taking that snap on 3rd and long from 2022? We'll tell you who they were on the Horn.
Chad and Zay.
I like it. Hour number 3 on a Monday. It's Chad and Zay. I'm Chad Hastings. He is Isaiah Collier. He gets you a beat, especially chosen for you to start every third hour. I like this, Zay. Little mystery to it. Feels like there's somebody, I don't know, somebody's doing something wrong. Somebody did something wrong. Maybe the cops are on the scene. Maybe Jason's on the scene about to kill somebody with a hockey mask. Like, there's a little sinister quality to it. I like it. What is it?
Chunk Up the Deuce, a little Kiki featuring Paul Wall, Bun B, and a lot more Houston folk.
Oh, okay. It's very good.
Yeah, I love this song.
Sometimes that simple little piano stuff
Yeah.
is the scariest stuff in the world.
Yeah.
That's terrifying right there. That's well done. Lil Kiki, the beat getting us going this hour. Chad and Zay with you on this Monday. And remember, a lot of stuff going on Longhorn-wise today. Good news on the football front. Another verbal commitment. His name is Aaron Hampton out of Dangerfield. He had been a Texas commit. Then he decided to decommit and now recommit. It's a whole new world in high school to college football. That didn't used to happen a lot, but it happens more and more now. Aaron Hampton's the 13th guy in the 24 class. We talked about Devin Pryor, new Longhorn basketball player. He was going to go to LSU. Then he reclassified to get to the 23 class. He is listed as a 3-star by some of the recruiting services. He will be a part of the Texas basketball team. We'll see how much playing time there is. With all these guys they brought in, Zay, Devin Pryor's going to have a tough time finding the floor.
It's hard for 5-stars to reclassify and get serious minutes on whatever team they select to go to college to. So for a deep, 3-star like him coming in, I hope he's patient. I hope he understands the process that Coach Terry and that coaching staff are throwing at him. And if he buys into that, then he could be a very good player.
Also, remember, Big 12 Media Days cranking up Wednesday and Thursday up at Jerry World. We'll have the show up there for you on Wednesday, live from Jerry World. It is always a weird feeling, but kind of a cool feeling for me as a Cowboys fan. And, Zay, I really wish Bijan Robinson had been drafted, because then you could feel like this is the beginning of your fandom.
Right.
Like on the field. Like they literally set us up on the field itself. Your feet are on the surface as you're walking around to press conferences and grabbing a little bite to eat and getting a cup of coffee or whatever. You're literally on the field and you're looking up at that crazy, super scoreboard and everything. It is such a surreal working environment.
Yeah, I'm excited, man.
So weird.
A lot of big games have been held there, not just Cowboys games, and was kind of just the blueprint on what new stadiums were when it came out. 08?
08, and it's
08,
still
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, when Eli broke that thing in. If y'all don't remember.
You did not need to remind us of that.
Break that thing in, Eli.
Thank you so
Break
much.
that thing in. Yeah, man.
Eventually the Cowboys turned that thing but the beginning of it, yeah, Eli liked that place
Did.
A lot. Yeah, and that obviously is a place where the Longhorns want to play one more massive game. One more big game going after Big 12 hardware. They would love to have Brett Yormark and the Big 12 officials have to hand them that trophy one more time.
Sark might have to snatch it out of Yormark's hands if he gets up there, but yeah.
Can you imagine going back and forth like a give me the trophy? That's what Sark wants to do. Venables wants to do it too.
Yeah.
Will it be those two teams going head up? The media says it's Texas and K-State going head up. This year also, first year in the Big 12 in a long time, we'll say it, the Big 12 title game obviously now does not necessarily have to be a repeat. Doesn't have to be a rematch. It could be, but every single team is not playing 4 teams.
Right.
So now it's just all these different combinations out there. Obviously, if the Longhorns were to play UCF or Cincinnati or, somebody like that they don't have on the regular schedule, they would only be playing them for the first time. So we're getting all that going on this week too.
Yeah, Chad, before we get into some football talk, just the things that I see on social media are absolutely ridiculous. Listen to this story about an Atlanta man. Man caught going 111 miles per hour in a Dodge Challenger, told the Georgia police he had to race another driver because why? He was trying him.
He was trying him? What,
Yeah.
he pulled up to the intersection and gave him the hum?
Yeah, gave him the...
That was enough?
Yeah, that was it.
That's why?
That was it.
Oh.
See, this is what your Fast and Furious movies are doing to people. People will go out, watch these ridiculous movies, see Vince doing this thing, or Vin, whatever.
Vin Diesel,
Vin
yes.
Diesel, yeah, Vin doing this thing, and think,
But-
oh man, I'm like Vin. I got the juice.
So you don't subscribe to the catharsis theory that watching those movies gets it out of your system.
hell no.
You think it makes it worse?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you also think that like the music makes the kids crazy?
Yes.
And causes them to do bad things?
Absolutely.
You do.
Yep. Get the gangster music out these kids' ears.
Gangster music is causing
all
them to
of
do
it.
evil.
Yep.
All the devil
All the
worshiping.
new mumble mouth rap,
What about-
mumble rap, all that BS. Yep. Get it out the kids' ear. It's ruining the future.
What about the metal music? Is it turning them into devil worshippers?
No, that's okay.
Now that's a stance I did not expect you to
That's
take.
okay.
You're leaving the metal and you want to get rid of some gangster rap. Is that what you just said?
Nah, keep the gangster rap.
The
You need a
mumble
little-
rap.
You need a little NWA in your life.
The the mumble rap you have a problem
Yeah, the
with.
mumble rap is not the best.
Zay's like, oh, no. I don't want to take it away from them. I want to make sure they can clearly hear all the rap that's going on. That's what needs to happen. I'm with you there. All right, let's get into this quarterback thing, Zay. On Friday, we went to the tip top of the list for third and long conversions by quarterbacks. This is from just last season, correct?
Correct.
All right, and since Dak Prescott ended up number 2, I kept the list. It was Mahomes at 1, then Dak Prescott, then Tua, Garoppolo, Trevor Lawrence, Goff, Burrow, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Derek Carr. That's the top 10. So third and 5 or more, and how often you convert. But today, Zay, it's the bottom of the barrel.
The bottom of the barrel,
So
which is one of the most crazy lists that we've had.
So I'm assuming we're going 10th from the bottom all the way to the bottom?
Correct.
Okay, here we go. 10th from the bottom. Who is it?
All right. Tied for 9th,
Uh-huh.
because both of these guys, 9 and 10,
Uh-huh.
at 26%
Ooh.
conversion rating
That's
for
bad.
3 and 5 and over. 2 AFC East quarterbacks, Mac Jones and
Ooh.
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, okay.
Weird.
Obviously, Rodgers would have done it in Green Bay, but I got you.
So that's interesting.
Aaron's at 26?
26% that past season.
You know why that is? Because you don't convert when you get pouty in the middle of the play and decide it's bad and throw it to the seats.
Yeah.
They don't give you a conversion for
Well,
that.
Big Mike's not there anymore, so he was really trying last year.
Yeah,
He was really going in.
Fair enough.
So Aaron Rodgers and Mac Jones start the list,
Interesting.
tied at 6, 7, and 8.
Mm-hmm.
Davis Mills, Marcus Mariota, and your boy, A&M alum, Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, wow.
22%.
You know what? I was wondering if Tannehill was going to be on this list because I had a weird feeling that bad Ryan Tannehill would show up on a 3rd and 5 and long list.
Oh, yeah, that's where he's at his worst. Because you know the ball's not going to Derrick Henry probably.
Right.
So we're all in on Tannehill. You make a play, dog.
Damn, Ryan. Only 22% of the
Brutal.
time.
It's brutal.
I got to tell you, as a fan of his at the college level, sometimes it felt like that percentage. Yeah, about 22% of the time you got what you wanted. The rest of it, look out.
Is it a coincidence that all 3 of those guys, Tannehill, Mariota, and Mills, lost their starting jobs? All 3 of them.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
Now, Tannehill is still kind of fighting for it, but I really heard it's
Yeah.
between Malik Davis and, Malik Willis
Yeah.
and new boy, Kentucky.
Levis.
Will Levis.
Wow. Okay, so just as a preview, are we going to dip under 20% with this list?
Oh, yes.
Oh, good God. Okay, here we go. So we got half the list done. We got 5 guys left.
Jacoby Brissett at 4.
yeah.
Tied at 4 at 21% with Geno Smith.
Oh, now that's surprising because he wasn't on. You mentioned that you were a little surprised that he wasn't on the top 10 and maybe the back
Yeah.
end because that passer rating was up. The completion number was
He's a
big.
Pro Bowler this
Overall.
past year. Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf.
But 21% on 3rd and long?
Yeah.
That's bad.
Which, watch out for the Seahawks this year, man. Jackson Smith and Jigba, for him to be a number 3 wide receiver, which I think Tyler Lockett might be their number 3 wide receiver at this point of his career, which putting him in the slot, Tyler Lockett, he'll be able to get open with ease. But
Yep.
Jackson Smith and Jigba with that team, they're going to put up some serious numbers, especially with Walker in the backfield. I like them a lot. So,
Okay.
yeah, Geno Smith, Jacoby Brissett, tied at 4, 21%. Tied for 2nd,
Yes.
Baker Moneymaker
Oh,
Mayfield.
here you go, Bucks fans. Okay.
19%.
Oh, Baker.
Tied with, this shouldn't feel so bad, but with the year he had last year, maybe.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, also 19%.
Okay, yeah. Russell was bad. I wouldn't have thought it was that bad, but that's
I didn't
horrific.
think it was that bad either.
No, that's horrific.
I mean, I'm not one of those that have given up on Russell Wilson. Like, you can't. What he's done over the course of his career. Last year was just so odd. He was so corny and so unauthentic. It was just alarming. Like, we've never seen anything like that before. Like, dude, how fake are you really?
Worst Subway commercial ever.
Terrible.
Including all the ones with Jared that don't age well now.
Yeah, the whole point of being with Sierra, dog, is to be cool. Like, you can't get worse just because you change scenery. So
Dude, remember when he was laying in that bed when he signed that contract? Remember that? When he was laying in bed with her? Oh, dude, one of the best video. I can't remember if it was a video or a picture. I think it was a video. They're in the bed, and he's signing the deal, and she's in the bed with it. It was just one of the most, like, Mac Daddy flex moments, and then it turned into this.
Yeah.
Terrible. 19%. All right, so, wow. I'm just trying to figure out who the heck is the guy on the bottom of this list.
The greatest of all time.
What?
Tom Brady, number one, 17%.
Wow!
Last year, 2022, the GOAT.
Oh.
Greatest quarterback we've ever seen.
Say, I knew it felt bad as a Bucs fan. I did not know it was that bad. 3rd and 5 or more, he was at 17%.
And they won a division last year.
Yeah, they did.
They still won that division, which goes to show you, for Atlanta Hawks fans like me now. Falcons, excuse me. With the Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
Why not?
Oh, no, absolutely.
Why not?
No, is totally up for grabs, especially when you point this number out to Baker Mayfield. That is sick. The Bucs are getting better on 3rd and long as far as conversions go by going from Tom Brady at 17% to Baker Mayfield at 19%. That's pathetic.
I still don't think this is real. Like, it definitely is, but
that's wild.
I just can't even imagine Tom Brady ever being the worst at anything.
So then in terms of guys on this list, we said that of the other list we had, 3 of those guys didn't make, or excuse me, 2 of those guys didn't make the playoffs. Goff and Carr on the top list. So on this list here, Brady was in the playoffs, right? Bucs were in.
Geno was in.
Right? Seattle made it. That's 2.
That's it.
And Rodgers didn't make it, right?
Yeah, Rodgers didn't make it.
So 2 guys on the bottom 10 made the playoffs, and only 2 guys of the top 10 didn't.
Yeah.
That tells you exactly what you need to know about that stat. I'm glad you looked that up because I'll still say it is a critical stat to me. Less running, less focus on running. You can't. Plus, even if you love your running backs, even if you're Kyle Shanahan and you scheme the crap out of your running game, 3rd and 6, though, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, you sure, coach? I get you on 3rd and 4. 3rd and 2, oh, you can get freaky. Really? You're going to let Debo run it on 3rd and 7? Are you sure?
Right.
Most of the time, you're going to ask somebody to pass. That's why the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo was 4 shocked us late last week. That's big. Tua being top 4 is interesting. And you got Dak and Mahomes at the top, but then at the bottom of the bottom, Russell Wilson and Tom Brady. How about that?
Yeah, both going to Canton. I mean,
shocking.
Very shocking. And goes to show that you still need guys around you. You still need great play calling. You still need coaching. Like, because we saw with Nathaniel Hackett, he was trash last year. That's why he got gone.
Yeah, and you also need to hit those NFL windows. Let's be honest about what we watched last year. Take everything else out of it. Did we all watch Russell Wilson and Tom Brady disappoint on big 3rd downs? Yep. Hell yes, we did. I know I did as a Bucs fan. I'll admit it. I love the man. He showed up out of nowhere, put that uniform on, and won him another Super Bowl that I never thought was coming.
Just like that.
But last year, there were times where everything else was there, and it was Tom that missed it. So it all came together, and sometimes it was just him flat out throwing a bad pass.
I'm still surprised Mike Evans got over 1,000 yards last year.
How freaky is that?
Which he's 9 straight years. Like, he's trying to catch Jerry Rice on 11.
Right.
Which, with Baker, this might be it, Mike. Yo, Mike, this might be it, dog.
Mike's ready to prove his greatness this year.
Yo, he does something serious. If he gets over 1,000 this year, which you get an extra game, so it's not quite what it used to be. It definitely ain't what Jerry did.
Right. But still.
Tim Brown, I think he's also at 9 too.
And as long as he does it by game 16, it would be apples to apples.
For sure.
Right, if he doesn't need that last game. We'll see. Something tells me he might get it because where else are the Bucs going to throw the ball in 2023?
Where's Chris Godwin at?
You got to fill it up to Mike Evans.
Chris Godwin ain't gone, is he?
No, Godwin's there.
Okay,
He's
yeah,
there.
yeah.
You're right. He's there. They have some weapons, but they don't have a weapon like Mike Evans, so I'd keep feeding him the ball.
I've seen Baker recently doing his, photo ops and stuff, wearing the Bucs uniform. Baker looking a little hefty.
Oh, good.
That's
what I need to hear.
But maybe he needs that. Maybe he needs a couple of more LBs to get Roethlisberger-like. You know what I'm saying? Sit in that pocket with more confidence, knowing that I could take a shot because I added more meat to my bones.
Are you used to Baker Mayfield wearing the pirate ship yet?
No.
Because I'm not.
It's a weird look.
It's freaking me out. Freaking me out. Oh, my God. Yeah, that's going to be a weird one in 2023. All right, coming up, we'll tell you why today matters. Some big birthdays today and yesterday, including one of the most important athletes that ever lived that would have had a birthday today. How about a guy that used to be the best receiver in the NFL, and now he is a long way from that. They both have birthdays today. We'll tell you who they are. Don't move. It's The Horn. All right, this is Chad. Let's talk a little Apple leasing. If you're looking for a new car or truck, it's a perfect time to check out Apple Leasing. Anytime's the perfect time because all you have to do is call them, 346-9977, and they'll do the legwork for you. Don't worry about going from super hot dealership to super hot dealership and all this crazy temperatures. They'll do all that searching for you. They'll come back to you with all the big options, any make, any model, any car, any truck, any SUV. You'll get the same discounts and incentives that the dealers get you, but you're not going to have to worry about all that hassle. Any rebates that are out there, so maybe there's something left over from a holiday sale, some kind of 4th of July thing you can still get a hold of. They'll know all that stuff. The end of year selection when you get a little towards more the end of the year. Now that we're past the midway point, they know all of that stuff. It is the easiest and safest way to get a new car. They've been doing this for folks all the way back to the 80s. They'll make sure you're satisfied. Again, the same discounts and incentives that the dealers get you, but they keep that hassle for themselves. Call 346-9977. Let them know you heard about it here on The Horn. 346-9977 or go to appleleasing.com.
Chad and Zay.
All right, rolling through a Monday. Sounded kind of familiar, but I feel like I'm going to be way off. This feels younger now. This
Like
feels
younger and
This feels younger,
just
like
came
more
out?
recent.
Oh,
this feels a
wow.
little more recent because when it started, though, all I thought of was P. Diddy.
Okay, there you go.
Is that him?
You're right there.
Okay,
It's not
it's not.
quite P. Diddy, but he's on the song.
Okay,
So you're right there. I'll give you it.
partial credit.
Partial credit.
All right, what do we got?
Mace featuring Puff Daddy.
Okay,
Looking at Me off Mace's classic album Harlem World.
gotcha.
Probably came out in 97.
Mace with Puff Daddy. All right, at least I got that part right.
Yeah, you were there.
Okay, good. There we go. Some partial credit. I'll take it. Mace and Puff Daddy to go with Madonna and Expose and Right Said Fred and Santana and Rob Thomas. The little Kiki beat got us started this hour. Tonight, remember, it is Seattle for the Home Run Derby. Don't miss Pete Alonso against Julio Rodriguez. Those two guys can put on a show. I think it's one of those two or maybe Vlad Jr. that takes this thing. As a Rangers fan, I'd love for it to be Adolis Garcia, but this is the very first time he's done it. First time guys I always worry
Nerves.
about, right?
Yeah.
Just not knowing how to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Pete Alonso, the way he does it, it's just it doesn't, it's not quite like Ken Griffey Jr. automatic, but when you get comfortable with how it works, you get a little better at it, and Julio has already shown off a little bit too. So I think whoever wins that early battle with those two has a great chance to go win the whole thing.
Very curious to see how Mookie Betts does. He went out and just said, I'm not a power guy, and he isn't, but he has some pop. He
Yeah.
has some pop. And like you said, if some guys could get just used to the way their pitching coach is throwing it and they have a good rhythm, then maybe he could finesse and win this thing. But yeah, I always love Mookie Betts as a player, 5-tool player, one of the best athletes in all professions. Like, maybe one of the best, definitely one of the best athletes in baseball, but as basketball, hockey, soccer, football, Mookie Betts, I've seen him do some crazy stuff on video, like dunking the ball and running routes and stuff. Crazy athlete.
I'll just say on behalf of a home run derby watcher, I don't care that that's the 3-6 matchup and he's the 3. Let him get past Vlad and then we'll talk.
Yeah, it'll be tough.
I think Vlad Guerrero's going to take him out. I don't see Mookie Betts doing well there. So take that as a challenge, Mookie. I'd love to see you do well. I got a feeling like that one's like maybe he gets to 10, but I think that's one of those ugly ones.
Yeah, Vlad Jr., he was sitting in the dugout when his pops was in these, home run derby. So he's been looking forward to doing this since he was a kid. Yeah, it's going to be tough for Mookie to make it out of that.
He is awesome. All right, so we'll see how that goes tonight. So home run derby tonight, obviously Major League Baseball's all-star game tomorrow. And if you missed it earlier, if you're a fan of that Round Rock team, Socorro got drafted in the 3rd round by Washington. I'm just rolling through the last few picks to see if we've got some anybody from Texas or the state of Texas. Recently, Nathan Detmer of A&M ended up going to the A's in the 5th round. That's one of the more recent picks. The draft rolls on right now. Let's get into why today matters. We got some big birthdays today, including one of my favorite important athletes of all time. All right, and before we jump into this, our man CB reaching out that Dylan Campbell got drafted.
Yes,
little
like
earlier?
he is a Los Angeles Dodger.
Very cool, very cool. that is what we will. Yep, there it is. 4th round, that compensatory round. See, I missed the little sandwich round. Thank you, CB, for keying us in. Dylan Campbell, yeah, he'll look good in that LA Blue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Got taken by the Dodgers in the 4th round there.
No, Craig Way's happy about that.
Oh, yeah. Craig's going to enjoy that. All right. So in terms of a birthday today would have been the 80th birthday of the great Arthur Ashe. I am a tennis fan, as well as just a fan of important athletes throughout time. And Arthur was one of the incredible gentlemen in the world of sports. He died all the way back in 1993. Such a sad story there. Died from HIV and AIDS because of a blood transfusion.
Oh yeah.
He was one of the first. He was the first big time name that I remember hearing of that, where it was just something. It was something that wasn't sexually transmitted, and it didn't make any sense based on what was going on. And then they find out it was the blood transfusion. That was terrible. But Arthur Ashe, one of the most important guys. He and Billie Jean to me are like the two pillars in tennis. Some of the most important figures in terms of advancing that sport, trying to develop things in that sport. Every time I see, even when I see a young man like Christopher Eubanks, who we talked about earlier, big 6'7" kid banging his way to the quarters, when I see a black male, especially a male tennis player, I just can't help but think of Arthur Ashe.
Every time.
Paved the way, man.
Definitely. He had his own shoe.
Yeah, the
rackets
racket
and stuff.
Yep.
Like, he was fly. He was a fly dude.
So cool. And he made those giant, like, aviator glasses look badass.
Right.
That's hard to do. That's hard to do. As a fan of the Aviators, I love him for that, too. So he would have been 80 today. Happy birthday to the memory of Arthur Ashe. Also, we've got a couple birthdays in the music world. Rest in peace to Ronnie James Dio. Would have been 81 today. God, he died back in 2010. Hard to believe it's been that long. Also, Rodriguez turns 81 today. If you don't know the Rodriguez story, go find the documentary Searching for Sugar Man. It's one of the craziest musical stories I have ever heard. Rodriguez is 81 today. Also, one of my favorite manager flip-outs has a birthday today. Hal McRae is 78. It's not the ultimate, like, it may not even be Mount Rushmore, but when Hal McRae was the manager of the Royals and he flipped out in that locker room, oh, Zay, it had all kinds of ingredients. Like, he was a little disheveled because I think his pants were undone.
Right.
And he had just come out, like he's just getting dressed kind of a thing. And
They got their ass whooped.
they got beat. I can't even remember all the circumstances, but by the end of it, he pulled the telephone out of the wall and threw it across the room, and a media member got cut and had like blood running down his face as he walked out of there.
That person pressed charges?
I don't think so. I don't recall,
man.
though. I don't recall how that part of it ended.
That's respect.
It was an intense flip out from Hal McRae.
I'm all about my good skipper flip outs.
Oh,
man.
my God.
Augie Garrido.
Yeah,
probably
right.
the greatest ever.
The Augie one that Longhorns, they send that around a few times a year because that was interesting because it was a secret one.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't know he was being filmed on that one.
Yeah, who snitched Augie out there? I never
I
knew
don't
that
know.
story.
Don't know if we ever found that out. Hal McRae knew the cameras were there.
Yeah.
He knew, and he tried to break half of them during that flip out. It's unbelievable. Also, speaking of flipping out, I always flip out when I see her because she is so hot and talented. Sofia Vergara is 51 years old today.
Man.
Shout out Columbia.
Yo. Shout out Modern Family.
Whew.
Big reason why I love that show.
Mm-hmm.
Huge reason.
She's incredible. She
Yeah.
is incredible. Also, happy birthday. If you're the right age, we got to say happy birthday to Vinny Chase today. Adrian Grenier, the actor that played Vinny Chase, is 47 today. I love me some Entourage.
Man,
The
what
mo-
a show.
I saw the movie on today, and I haven't seen that one in a while either. But love the show. I dig the movie. Shout out to Vinny Chase and Entourage.
Man, will never be another show like Entourage. Who knows how truthful it was to Mark Wahlberg's life, but hell, every time I see Mark Wahlberg, I think of Entourage.
Yeah.
Like, that's the first thing I think of. I don't think of anything that he's done, from the shooter movies to
Oh.
all the other
Yep.
rom-com type stuff, like Marky Mark. Like, I think of Entourage, and he wasn't even in it. It was just about him.
Right. No, that's a
Like,
good point.
Turtle and Ari, all those guys, man, that's just a classic
Dude,
show.
Ari Gold, one of the best characters ever on TV.
I love Jeremy Piven.
Let me move the mic for this one. Lloyd! Yeah, it's just great. And then not to mention Emmanuel Shrieky as Sloane. Sloane was her name, right?
Yeah.
The girlfriend?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, she was a baddie.
She was
She looked
incredible. Yeah. Shout out
Uh-huh.
to Entourage. Go watch some old episodes if you have them around. Also, today, it is the 35th birthday of Antonio Brown. Used to be the best receiver in the league. Now he is just a registered wacko.
Sad, man.
Sad story. We don't even know why the full version of the story. Why is it totally sad? How much, football is part of it or whatever, but he's gone way off the deep end, eh?
When you hear him talk now on podcasts and stuff, homeboy makes 0 sense.
No, it's
Like zero.
it's
Like
crazy.
he's gone completely AWOL. He'll always try to talk about how Bruce Arians did him wrong in that Jets game when he stormed off the field and it all came crashing down. Really, then, I mean, before him getting his toes all frozen up and stuff with the Raiders and
Oh,
all
my
that
God.
going on during Hard Knocks, that wasn't a good look. It's just all that talent to be wasted. And he still might go to Canton. With like all his stats and stuff, I don't know if he'll be voted in just for a respect standpoint.
I just don't think they'll keep him out because they don't want that speech.
Right.
They might just want to avoid the speech.
Exactly. Which is a damn shame, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's very sad how his career ended. Definitely helped y'all win that Super Bowl.
No doubt.
But, him being a number 3 wide receiver is still bananas to me. But, oh, God, it's so sad what has happened to him. He might be getting sued by his Arena Football League that he was a part of.
Of course he is.
Because apparently he wasn't paying guys
No.
on time. He was
Really?
taking money out for his own personal expenses and stuff. So, yeah, man.
Dude, he's bizarre.
Whether he got lit up by Burfitt and everybody thinks that's when it turned, I don't know. But something went wrong. We just don't know when.
Yeah, Antonio Brown, the old school is Central Michigan, if you don't remember that way back in the day, man. Came out of Central Michigan, became the best, and now it is a whole different deal. Speaking of one of the best, Zay, how many sports talk shows still talk about OJ's birthday? OJ was 76 yesterday.
One of the greatest.
I mean, USC. You said you talked about it when we were dealing with some Mount Rushmore discussions. If you go Mount Rushmore of USC football, doesn't he have to be on it?
Yes.
Like, unless you just want to get petty.
Yeah. I mean, you get petty.
But,
Probably him,
Juice.
Marcus Allen, Reggie, maybe Matt Lyon. I know I'm missing a lot of guys.
You can make them all running backs. Just throw Charles White in there and be done with it.
Right.
You know? You just make them all running backs if you wanted to. By the way, OJ and Tom Hanks have the same birthday. Can you
great
think,
men.
Yeah, can you think of a more loved and more hated guy in the United States right now than those two? One turned 76, one turned 67 yesterday.
Yeah, they definitely lit up the 90s just in different ways.
They absolutely did.
One was running Forrest Gump, the other was running from the police.
Oh, my God. Also, rest in peace to Bon Scott. Bon of AC/DC would have been 77 yesterday, their first lead singer that died back in 1980. Also, today is National Pina Colada Day. Zay, that's one of your friends from the honeymoon.
Man, yeah.
Are you over Mr. Pina Colada yet?
I am.
Okay.
I probably won't be having one for a hot minute now.
Do you even like smell coconut now and want to vomit?
Yeah, it makes you want to dry heave. Yo, love my wife, love the honeymoon, but I will not be drinking for a very, very long time. I know why I don't.
It's a good call. Good call. Also today, find yourself a cute kitten out there. It is National Kitten Day. Sometimes there's just nothing as cute as bringing a new kitten to the house. Just make sure the house is ready for the new kitten because they bring more than just that face with them. They bring the claws too. So be careful.
Not a cat, man.
Not a cat guy?
Oh, no. Can't do it.
Gotta be the right kind of person.
Like jumping on the microwave and the refrigerator and all that stuff. That's when it becomes too much.
Ooh, those little faces are something, though. Shout out to all the good kittens in the world. If you're just bringing a kitten to the house, we wish you all the best on this June 10th, on this July 10th. Trying to go back in time. All right, coming up, stems and seeds before we get out of here. Getting you set up for the Home Run Derby. Plus, speaking of baseball, Ball Don't Lie's got a special guest coming up. We'll tell you about that next on The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
Oh, whew, thank goodness that was edited. That was close. That was close. We all knew where that rhyme was going, didn't we? Thank goodness. Thank goodness. All right, just about done on a Monday. Do I have a shot here, Zay? Is this too new for me?
Probably.
Probably
yeah.
too new?
I mean,
Okay.
you did think a 97 song was very new, too, so who knows what you're thinking.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's not even worry about it. Who is it?
Meek Mill
Yeah, I wasn't saying that.
featuring Rick Ross. I'm a boss.
So obviously there's been a lot with the Meek Mill story about the jail and going to jail, getting out of jail, all that stuff. Rap-wise, how good is he?
You know what's interesting? I've never been a Meek Mill fan, but I know he's good.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, like I know he's good, but you hear how he's yelling right now? That's how he raps.
Okay.
He just yells.
High energy.
Too
high
high.
energy
Sometimes too high.
Got to dial it down.
Yeah,
maybe.
just a little
Okay.
bit.
All right.
Just a little bit.
Meek Mill, Mace with Puff Daddy, Madonna, Expose, Right Said Fred, and Santana with Rob Thomas. Maybe we should have gotten Mace with Puff Daddy and Santana with Rob Thomas out on tour together. That would have been a good show. A little Kiki beat to get this hour started. We got some baseball to get into and some other things. You got a home run derby tonight, and we have a couple big stories to remind you of. If you're just jumping in, let's get you stems and seeds. Here we go.
No stress, no seeds, no stems, no sticks.
All righty. Brought to you by AV Consultations, 255-8678, or go to avconsultations.com. Coming up on Ball Don't Lie, they're going to talk to Marcus Timms, the Angels hitting coach, a former teammate of our man Mike Harge, and I guess Marcus will take credit for all those great hitters, right? Take credit for Trout, take credit for Ohtani.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Great
Marcus
scouting.
Timms coming up at 4:30 on Ball Don't Lie. Also, shout out to the Round Rock pitcher Travis Sikora. He went in the third round of Washington today, and we had a guest on that pointed it out. But Zay, they go in and they mark those picks out, so you know how much each one is worth. And Mr. Sikora, $1.02 million. So, Longhorn fans, if he does not end up in Burnt Orange, you'll know why.
Yeah, you think that he was looking around graduation at Round Rock High and was like, how many of my classmates will be millionaires in a couple months?
Yep. My goodness. That's crazy.
Very impressive.
As far as guys from the state of Texas around the area, Texas State's Levi Wells goes in the fourth round, a pitcher. A&M's Hunter Haas goes to Tampa in the fourth round. We mentioned Dylan Campbell going in that the compensatory pick in the fourth, little sandwich round pick. He is going to the Dodgers organization if you missed it. Nathan Detmer of the Aggies, the pitcher, going to the A's. And Lucas Gordon, just recently, sixth round. Second Longhorn off the board is Lucas Gordon to the White Sox.
I'll take that.
Congratulations to Lucas. By the way, that pick is worth a mere $317.4 thousand.
Pretty good coin.
Not bad. The Major League Draft continues. Tonight, it is the Home Run Derby. You got a pick for me tonight, Zay?
I'm going to go with Vlad Jr.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been waiting for these moments since he was a little kid watching his pops, and I know he wants to fill his dad's shoes. So, yeah, I got Vlad Jr. tonight. Who you got?
I'm going to say Alonso's the easy pick because he's won it before. I'm going to say Julio Rodriguez gets on a run.
I like Julio.
I'm going to say Julio takes Alonso out and just rolls through it.
Hometown kid?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. That too.
Yeah.
That angle, his ballpark, his place, he's comfortable, his own bed. I'm going to say he rolls it in hometown.
Yeah. Who's your favorite, like, home run derby contestant of all time?
There's a few. Ken Griffey Jr. immediately comes to mind.
Oh, for sure.
Barry Bonds was a blast to watch in the home run derby, and I know it was probably roid-filled.
Oh, man, bring him back.
But
Bring back the Roy era. Come on.
The McGuire-Sosa battle in Boston.
Man.
Do you remember that night?
I do remember that.
When McGuire was squeezing the bat so hard you could hear it. You could hear this as he was grinding the bat. And he and Sosa were tomahawking stuff over that green monster.
Oh, Big Mac was so juiced up, boy.
There were people in Boston over there on the monster. I can't remember. I don't think they had all the seats up on the monster yet, but they were knocking those balls out in those streets. They had never seen that done before. It was an incredible show.
What player after their rookie season, like Mark McGwire, which he led in his rookie year, he led the league in homers, gone to Rookie of the Year and stuff like that. But after he says, you know what? This ain't enough. This ain't enough.
I know. Barry did the same thing.
Yeah, one of the greatest at his time, and said this ain't enough either.
Mark said it wasn't enough. He and Sosa did what they did, and that supposedly pissed Barry off to the degree that he did what he did. None of them were satisfied. They just didn't want to be, like, one of them specifically was going to be a Hall of Famer. Easy.
Yeah.
And the other two, I think, maybe didn't know. So maybe that's why McGwire and Sosa started it, and then Barry just felt like he needed to